Hello everyone and welcome to Saturday afternoon footy. A very big afternoon from the MCG, particularly for North Melbourne as they take on one of the premiership favourites, Hawthorn. Luke Darcy, a pretty ordinary last week, the Kangaroos against Freo. We expect a big lift today.
Yeah, they'll need it against one of the premier sides in the competition. They've got some big ins. Shannon Grant back after a week off, Nathan Thompson and Corey Jones. That helps having three quality players back into the side. They'll need to play at their absolute best, Hutto, today if they're going to knock off Hawthorn.
A huge win from Hawthorn last week in Adelaide, of course, as we have a look at the side. Travis Tuck comes in as that last-minute replacement for Tim Clark.
Yeah, and they're still missing Trent Crode. Was a late withdrawal last week. We know that Sewell and Crawford and Bateman are out of that side, but they've got a lot of depth these days, talent right across the ground, and I expect the big matchup always is the two big forwards, Franklin and Roughhead, and we know that the North Melbourne side's had real trouble with key forwards this season.
They have. A few weeks ago, of course, Bradshaw and Brown kicked 6, and then Mooney kicked 7, and Pavlich kicked 8 last week. There's the Roos lineup. You talked about a lot more strength up forward with Thompson and also Corey Jones. Yeah,
Shannon Watt comes back into the fullback position, so that'll be interesting, won't it? Because Josh Gibson, really improved player, but they've had a lot of goals kicked against them, as has Ferrito. He's actually probably best suited to play midfield, Ferrito, but they need him to stand up on the big guns. He'll probably get one of them today, and he'll need to be at his absolute best.
In a brief word, can you mount an argument for them to win, North?
You can with the inclusions they've got. I just think the depth and the strength of Hawthorn, they're a professional outfit. Massive win for them last week over in Adelaide. They'll be just too good, I think, Hutto.
Nathan Thompson remarkably back a week and a half after having a little minor knee operation. Jeff Kennett, believe it or not, the Hawthorn president, reckons it's crazy that he would be back in the side after a short let off after that knee operation. Conditions here are getting better by the second, boys. Perfect for footy.
Thanks, Andy. Yes, looking forward to this clash, and great shots of Alistair Clarkson and Dean Laidley. And, well, the Kangaroos have got a great record against Hawthorn here at the MCG. Have won their last 5 by an average of 35 points. And there's the matchup you talked about, Luke. Gibson with first crack at Lance Franklin.
And they've given him plenty of space, Chris, so he's got the whole forward 50 to himself.
So, almost underway here. North Melbourne versus Hawthorn. Round 13 from the MCG, and an early free kick. Pulled out by the umpire, not officiating, and I think it's got to come back to Daniel Wells, who wasn't aware that he had the free kick. So, first opportunity of the match to North Melbourne. Wide kick, and Petrie a long way in front of Campbell, 55 from goal. They need a good start here, the Kangaroos. Deep to the goal square. Hale, Thompson involved. Brown, a little slip. Well done, Murphy. Oh, gee, dubious looking handball, but it got to Guerra. And he relieves the pressure out wide. Mark taken by Williams in the back pocket for Hawthorn.
Who sends it along, hoping for Rioli, but it's cleaned up by the Kangaroos and by Wells. Pratt, who, funnily enough, seemed to start on Mitchell, who started forward. There's Simpson working his way through the middle. Simpson and Harvey, the two most prolific Roos. There's Urquhart, who impressed a couple of weeks ago against the Cats. Spoiled from Brown, and interference goes Ladson's way.
Looks as though he's got the job on Boomer Harvey today.
There's a replay. Bit sloppy from the Hawks out of defence. Osborne, who was the hero, one of the heroes last week with a couple of goals, one late, which was inspirational stuff to get them home against Adelaide. Guerra, not a late inclusion, but an inclusion this week for Hawthorn, and the ball over the line and out of bounds. Saturday afternoon footy from the MCG. It's a cool Melbourne day, but after a little bit of rain this morning, all is fine and the conditions seem fine. That's a throw plucked out. And Osborne again to take it, and the Hawks are away from halfback.
Guerra just steadies, short. Mitchell, oh gee, got it in a wink of an eye off to Osborne, who was just affected by the kick. So Franklin a chance on attacking 50, put it straight to ground, will follow up. Beaten to it though by his teammate Jude, who feeds it back. Murphy, sweeping handball back into the corridor. Guerra, Hawks to set up again. He rifles the kick. Mark taken by Osborne. Beautiful handoff to Franklin from 60. Drives to a vacant goal square. Getting back though, well played. Mark taken by Petrie. And he relieved the pressure for North Melbourne off the Pratt. Kangaroos look to build here. Wasn't a great kick. In fact, kicked it straight to Williams. And Hawthorn can reload.
They can through the middle. Campbell with a layoff to Birchall, ever dangerous. And Mitchell, as I said, starting out of the pocket low. It looks like he might be running with him. We'll check all those matchups as we go. Hodge working back again via Mitchell. Right back to Birchall from where we started a while ago. Thomas had him in the sights, but he was able to pluck out Ladson, who we identified as playing on Harvey before. Doesn't think he's within range. This bloke just about always is. So his first shot at goal comes, well, it's sort of his second shot at goal of sorts, comes 3 minutes into the match.
No, the first one was from 65, so
well,
we'll give you that, I think, Hutto.
Just a great bit of vision of his double lead there. Josh Gibson was in front. We know how quick he is off the mark, and it was a double lead. Gibson lost him. Doesn't need a lot of space, this man, to get free and take a mark on the lead.
So Buddy Franklin kicked the 5 against North in round 3. He's not able to work this one the right way. In fact, as you can see, no score at all in the opening 3.5 minutes.
Interesting, Sam Mitchell starting up forward. Ed Lauer's got the tagging job on him.
Pratt. And now Wells at half-back for North Melbourne. Chips the kick effectively. Hale gets it on quickly. Now Ferrito a chance. They work it to the wing, the Kangaroos, and do a good job, but that's not a great kick.
What do you think the thinking is, Das, with Mitchell starting?
Just to identify who was going to play on him and give North Melbourne something that they didn't expect at the start. So Lauer was out of the centre. I'm sure as the game progresses, he'll get back into the action. Guerra
from half-back, chips it wide. Rioli into the action. Intent on playing on Hawthorn at every opportunity. Back to Guerra, pumps it long, deep inside, attacking 50. But North Melbourne have got a couple of players back across there. So mark taken by Watt to Gibson to Pratt. Shares it with Harding. Kicks wide. Now Hale with the sit over due and didn't make a great fist of it. Numbers at the contest favour the Hawks, although arriving on the scene Wells to pick up the loose football. Does well, kick not great. Petrie over his head. Look at the numbers again favouring Hawthorn. This time they do win out. Rioli drills it, but again, numbers back. Mark taken by Watt.
Great sign for North Melbourne to have Shannon Watt take a couple of marks in front of Buddy Franklin. He needs a lot of support, Josh Gibson, today.
Strange old game so far. It's the next kick that's been the problem for North Melbourne. Can they hit a target inside or around the 50? Rawlings has the responsibility, sets it high as if that's a bit of a game plan, or fumble from Guerra. The Roos just clumsy with the attempt to tackle. And we did identify that. Oh, there's a smother. Always dangerous. Thomas kept it alive, might still get the rewards himself, but the Hawks able to concede the behind there, covering up Murphy for the error. And
Hutto, just some bad, sorry to butt in, but there's just some bad news for Daniel Wells. That Stuart Dew tackle seems to have done some damage to the right ankle or knee of Wells, who's coming off the ground. So 5 minutes into the game, some bad news for North Melbourne.
Thanks, Andy, as Hawthorn bring it out through Gillam. Finds Murphy at half-back. There's Daniel Wells.
It's a shocking run this year, hasn't he? Just continually getting injured.
Good news is he's half jogging off, so there's some hope. There's Hawthorn. Head towards half-forward. Gibson pushed under the footy by Franklin. A chance from 20 metres. Sprays it. Bounced it awkwardly toward goal. And there's Daniel Wells getting some attention to his right ankle. So opportunity missed there by Lance Franklin. Couple of shots at goal.
They've asked about the right. Sorry again, Chris. They've asked about the right knee as soon as he came in. They're just checking it structurally at the moment.
Has a phenomenal amount of shots at goal, doesn't he? But he's had 3 already. He's only played 5 minutes.
And he's got 1 behind for his work so far. Again, they have to mark under duress or attempt to mark under duress on the wing, North Melbourne. So the system is breaking down. Are they being caught in this Hawthorn web already, Das, or is it just bad disposal by North on the way
I think
out?
their kicking efficiency has been pretty poor at the start of the game. If they're going to win, they've got to get that right.
Well, the tap came from Campbell, but Harvey was able to get the escape. And Harding did well under duress. Ferrito off the left. Can he hit a target? Looks like he's got a better chance this time. Hale forced to get Ben down and do some hard work on ground level. Gillam didn't have as much time as he thought. And Thomas was able to give Harvey an opportunity which he doesn't waste. Over to Campbell, and there's the first on the board for North Melbourne. And that'll lift their spirits significantly.
There's been a couple of great positive bits of play through North Melbourne. Look at this chase and tackle from Nathan Thompson. He's coming off a slight bit of knee surgery. When you see a big key forward run someone down from behind, there was a smother earlier by Lindsay Thomas. They've brought a lot of energy to this game, North Melbourne, and they'll need to maintain it for 4 quarters to continue pressing Hawthorn.
Dean Laidley, good start by North Melbourne. There's Daniel Wells getting his right knee strapped by the look of it, Andy.
Yeah, I think he's okay, Chris O. They've checked it structurally. They're taping it up, and I'd expect to see him back out there.
Okay, let's hope so. Renouf gets it down. scrap in the centre. Mitchell's kick run down by Petrie. Riggio brilliantly done with the blind turn. Well, fed it off to Harvey, who was in the tackle with Lewis. Ball spills to centre half forward. Contested football going nowhere and a bounce.
The intensity that North Melbourne have brought to this contest. Just having a look at the Daniel Wells incident. Dragged off the footy. I think Andy Marr suggesting that might be looking at his right knee, but the pressure that North Melbourne are putting on at the moment is fantastic, Chriso.
Harvey feeds it back to Simpson, who chip kicks it towards Thomas. Surely pushed in the back, no free kick. Chance at the back for Gillam. Again, they're under pressure. Morton works it to Birchall, and now Ladson. And in the end, they work it out pretty well. The Hawks' chip kick is okay. Mark taken by Mitchell. And again, the overlap. Morton introduced into this Hawthorn side. A little bit too much on it for Tuck, so it lets the Kangaroos in. Urquhart off to Simpson, and the Kangaroos can go for it again.
Shannon Grant, they can get the system going here because they had that loose man Campbell losing the footing. The big man Hale, he shakes his head because the Hawks are there. Run off to Mitchell and now Birchall, and they do have the extra body on this side of the ground. Pratt did well, worked really hard back on Boyle, at least slowed things down, but he's still going to be free, and Franklin's got space in front of him. We know that spells danger. They might not go to him. Tuck pokes the kick, and the North defence have been playing in front, and they've been doing really well. That's Shannon Watt that time.
That's been paid out of bounds on the full. Came off the boot of Shannon Watt, the bound up by.
Was that in the back from a moment ago?
If that's not a push, Anthony, I don't know what is. Had to be a free kick.
Don't make me make a call on that. Roughhead from the boundary line. He went too short. Impossible pass for Lewis, and Pratt takes it, and you can see the signal maybe to hold things up and just work it out of defence. Over to Harris, and he wants to run on handball, and this is Hansen. Great to see him back in the north side. Welcome back to senior footy, Lachlan.
He did the blind turn before the Hawthorn player had arrived. Now what's going to happen here? It's a free kick to North Melbourne.
Legged.
It's just Daniel Harris.
See a player, Lockie Hansen, just the pace of AFL footy, just not quite aware of how quick you get caught if you try and play on in this this standard of football.
Big David Hale leading North Melbourne's contested marks in season 2008. Big job in the absence of Hamish McIntosh. Big leap and big mark from Thompson. Too far out to score. Good to see him back. Drives it deep into the goal square. Ellis going across, gets fist the ball, but North Melbourne at ground level have the numbers. Grant taking his time to pick it up, but he feeds it back. Watt kicks it to centre half forward. Thompson again, a chance. No, taken off hands by Harris. Feeds it back. Riggio. Gee, players are slipping at the moment. Off to Urquhart. Oh, gee, he's got a lot of players to get through. Back to Riggio. Set sail from 45, just offline. So North Melbourne certainly holding their own in the early stages of this match against one of the top sides, Hawthorn.
Ladson just keeps it in and keeps the momentum going. Birchall running straight into Adam Simpson. And this is a very impressive start by North, Das.
I think their intensity and their effort has been sensational in this first quarter. It started with Lindsay Thomas's smother. Nathan Thompson's tackle and chase before has been outstanding.
There's Riggio. Surely you're not allowed to have someone around the shoulder, but sometimes you are, obviously.
Big question is going to be, can they sustain, maintain this sort of pressure over 4 quarters? Their start's been great.
Plenty of Hawk numbers here, just off the contest at the top of your screen, away to the right. If it does happen to work out that way. Now, is that holding the man? Don't think so.
There's Drew Petrie. He's stationed himself across centre-half back. He starts at centre-half forward, pushes his way into defence. He's going to make sure that Buddy Franklin has as many 2-on-1s as he can, and Hale then pushes into the ruck and centre-half forward. Harris
next to Mitchell at that stoppage. Williams comes in from the side. No doubt their stoppage work is outstanding, Hawthorn, but they're not. They're ranked 12th for stoppages. Mitchell averages 6.5 per game. He's the #1 in the AFL. Lewis and Hodge and Sewell when he's playing, all experts in that area. North's best is Simpson and Harris are trying to clear the congestion. Renoff there. Riggio had to be careful not to interfere and didn't. And so there's an enormous amount of numbers inside the Kangaroo 50 here, just clogging things up. But the Roos have a 7-point lead.
Another opportunity here. 40 metres from the North goal. Ineffective ruck play. Tuck emerges, feeds it back. Birchall. And look at the running. They run in waves, the Hawks. Osborne looking for another option. Feeds it back. Williams, a little undecided. Not much to go to. So just bides his time. Over the top to Hodge. Chase from Shannon Grant, back to Williams. Look out, Pratt's got him, but he was able to get the handball to tuck. Great chase, Nathan Thompson. Sensational stuff. Good pressure north. And Thompson has started very, very well this afternoon.
He's been amazing, Chris. A great call. He's missed some footy. His return back from knee surgery has been a little bit up and down, but his intentions have been signalled at the start of this game. He started fantastically well.
Tackle count is 10-5 in favour of Hawthorn, actually, I think, at this stage.
So good, Hutto, when your big forward chases and runs men down from behind, it just sets the standard for the rest of your teammates.
So Grant from half forward kicks it towards Hale, who stands tall above Renouf and marks 40 from goal. And they need to get some reward for effort here. And David Hale, there's Daniel Wells, both knees strapped now. Looks as though he'll be back fairly shortly. But look at the chase here from Nathan Thompson. And just not easy to do when you're running full tilt to turn the person in the tackle, but he did that. And a good mark taken by Hale.
This man on screen is their #1 contested mark player. It's been an area of his game he's really improved in 2008.
So from 40 metres, can he kick straight? David Hale comes in. Not quite. So 1-3 plays one behind. And North Melbourne certainly had the better of things, leading possession 62-54 at the moment.
It's a good move. Hale starts in the ruck and he goes forward to centre forward. Petrie starts at centre forward and he's pushing back into defence to try and help Josh Gibson with Buddy Franklin.
So Xavier Ellis, well placed kick up to the wing. Big Renouf takes the mark, and now Guerra's running for him. The Young, good clean spoil from Harding. And the Roos, particularly in the last 6 or 7 minutes, have really controlled things. But on the scoreboard, it's just an 8-point lead to them.
That's the part of the ground where Hawthorn are really dangerous. When they spread and run from half back, they win the footy in the centre of the ground. North Melbourne have really been able to close that down in this early part of the game.
Campbell back on to contest with Peter, and he did some good ground level work. Harris had some numbers out the back. Simpson back for Harris. And intelligent looking kick for Harvey. Guerra did well though. And it's over and out.
That's just been the area that they'd love to sharpen up a bit when they win their own footy at half back. The kick for Harvey just sat up a little bit too much. It was easy for Guerra to spoil. So if they can get their kicking efficiency working better, North Melbourne, they'll be right in this.
Well done, Harris. Ripped the ball off Lewis. Harvey, look away handball to Rawlings. Now Harding under pressure, but able to get some penetration on the kick towards Thompson. Ball to the back. Chance for Birchall. Shannon Grant to apply the tackle. Birchall, oh gee, almost threw that.
He's gone.
He almost threw that, and that's what the umpire has ruled. And Shannon Grant, who hasn't kicked a goal in his last 3 games, of course missed last week. The week after Coach Dean Laidley said he'd never play in the VFL whilst he was coach. The chance to kick. No, I'm not suggesting he did. I'm just pointing out that that's what he said.
Well done, Shannon Grant, Chris. It was a contest that had to be made. He knew he was going to take the full-on force of the contact. Hasn't been in great form. That is a brilliant way just to get yourself back into touch. Lay a tackle, holding the ball in front of goal. It's a fantastic sign for him.
So from 15 metres, should kick a goal here. Shannon Grant, in he comes, pops it through. And North out by 14.
One of the better kicks in the game, Shannon Grant, throughout his career, nearly broaching 300 games. But he's got an ability from 10 or 15 metres out to shank them every now and then. And I had my heart in my mouth there. Oh, he copped the boot from Corey Jones just going over the top. That's not what you need, is your teammate to kick you in the head when you're on the ground. But that shot actually floated through, spun about once, so he managed to get it through anyway.
Daniel Wells okay, Andy, down there?
Yeah, mate, they've given him the all clear. A couple of thumbs up. He's done the run-throughs and back on the ground now. So great news for North Melbourne.
Back on the 50. Could prove a danger down there. The Kangaroos looking very good in this opening term. Hodge and Lewis to try and do something about it. And the Hawks can run again. Lewis a high one. Roughhead. Franklin backing into the pack boil. The big 3 tools all there at once. And Mitchell, not really noted for being a forward rover who kicks goals. But he is today. And it took 17.5 minutes to come for Hawthorn.
Yeah, well, he started forward, Sam Mitchell. He's spent some time in the centre of the ground as well, but he could be a brilliant permanent forward if he stayed there. His awareness is so good. Look where he positioned himself at the front of this pack. Absolutely A1 spot. That's where you win the foot every time, and he doesn't need much space. He's just so good by hand or foot. Kick the goal.
Quick reply from the Hawks. Margin back to 8 points. Inside 50 count. 10 North, 7 Hawthorn. Simpson brilliantly smothered though by Hodge. And Hawthorn inside 50 again. Roughhead and Franklin. Roughhead this time the juggling mark. He's marked 40 from goal. Not much of an angle to speak of. Some excited Hawthorn fans. The prospect of Jared Roughhead. And look at this smother from Hodge.
He's a phenomenal player, Luke Hodge, isn't he? His work rate coming back from a hamstring over the last 3 weeks has been amazing.
So Roughhead from 45 takes the kick. So margin 7 points now in favour of North Melbourne.
His matchup, Jared Roughhead, is Shannon Watt. Massive job for North Melbourne. If Shannon Watt can lock Jared Roughhead away, geez, it makes a difference for the side.
Kick 4 when they met in round 3. Played on both Petrie and Ferrito as his 2 opponents. Ellis comes late. Here's Wells. Maybe just got a little bit of contact. Incidental, it's deemed. Lower could be in trouble. Ball came out for Morton, who's impressed, averaging nearly 20 disposals a game so far this season. And there is Lockie Hansen.
Good amount of support, Josh Gibson, so far. He's had Watt dropping back and helping him out, and that was young Lockie Hansen who did well.
Geez, Stuart Durigans, he didn't touch him, but Harris has been good so far. Takes the free. So Harris to half forward and maybe beyond. That's okay. The mark paid for big Robert Campbell.
The kicking going forward at the moment isn't great. The effort and the energy, as we've spoken about, has been fantastic, but that was a kick that was never going to be marked by Drew Petrie.
High kick, Mitchell a target, and well done Harris arriving late to fist it over. So a boundary throw in on the southern wing.
9 disposals, Brent Guerra, 6 for Birchall and Mitchell. Harris with 7 for the Roos, 6 to Pratt.
So Petrie against Campbell, comes to Rawlings. Harris involved again, feeds it back. Wells tried to knock it to Urquhart. It went to ground, probably didn't need to. Now Hawthorn can run onto it. Rioli with a chance, paddling to his own advantage. Well done, chipping in Urquhart, paddled it to Pratt. Back to Harris, so another disposal for Darren Harris. Daniel Harris, I should say. And the mark's taken on the wing by Shannon Grant. Beautiful kick to Watt, who can keep going here. He's got support to his outside. Lower from 45. Kicks goalward, but right across the face. Thompson almost. Ball stays in. Oh, a little fumble, but they work it over the Hawks. And a rush behind again. Good movement by North Melbourne on that occasion.
Had another opportunity gone begging, really. Unfortunately, Lower not a massive kick of the footy, and Shannon Watt was bounding towards goal. Kangaroos need to make every post a winner early. They did this in the first game, didn't they, in round 3 against Hawthorn? Got away to a real flyer and got nutted on the line by the Hawks in the last quarter. So let's see what Hawthorn can do this time off half back.
They're putting good pressure on in this part of the ground, Hutto. You need to be able to squeeze Hawthorn here. You can't let them have easy possession. So you can see here, they're closing them down.
Oh.
Another smother was fantastic.
Yes, Dew across to Murphy and now to Brown, and Guerra comes up from behind for a bit of extra help, and Morton. But it's all stagnant stuff, isn't it? Locked down by North Melbourne here. There's a little bit of rain around, just a hint of it. Into the middle of the ground, that was good vision. Stuart Dew immediately wanted to go onto his left, but thought better of it. And eventually the option was provided by Mitchell. Now space in front of both Boyle and Franklin. Good instinctive play by Gibson. Got the handball out looking for Obst. Some good help provided, and Campbell got it to Rawlings. Jones got the full force of Stuart Dew, and there's a bit behind him as the ball goes to Boyle again inside 50. Both players going really hard for the ball. Ladson was able to recover best. Williams. Oh, terrific vision. Was it far enough? No, it wasn't. They don't realise the players paid the mark. The umpire didn't. Rafford got it off to Dew. Inside they go again. Osborne and Lauer. Gibson just had to get a handball off. North certainly got a wealth of numbers there. If they can find a path out, they should be okay. But they haven't got out yet. Oh, Hodge, was that interference? Could well have been. Hawthorn fans baying for blood from behind the goals. And now the free kick's gone into the wall. Take your hat off, take your scarf off, and get into it.
Thank you.
Have a look at that decision again.
They've nearly turned it over here, the Roos, on the last line. And that was very smart play by Urquhart to concede the behind. And that won't help the mood of those Hawthorn fans behind the goals. There's a few favourites there. Seen them before.
It's good stuff, isn't it?
I don't think there was a free kick.
No, I thought the umpire played a good decision there.
Not quite sure what the concern was for, but lower marks in the back pocket for North Melbourne. Lead by 7 points.
This kick's been a concern for them. Turned it over a bit this part of the ground.
Now he's in real trouble. He threw it. It should be a free kick advantage, is it? No, it'll come back. And just getting and almost playing on top of each other in defence. And Shannon Watt just lost for an option here.
It's trying to manufacture something, Chris, that wasn't on. I mean, at times you just have to concede. I'll kick that 50 metres down the line. Drew Petrie was down there.
Well, it was
to a one-on-one contest.
Exactly, and we so often see it, don't we, in today's football, where players are reluctant to kick to a contest. But when you're under pressure in defence, it's often the best thing. Trust your teammate to win a one-on-one. As it is, Luke Hodge, tough angle, as you can see, but just 25 metres. Tries the old check side if you don't mind. Margin back to a point. So Luke Hodge kicks Hawthorn's second goal and they draw to within a point. North kicked the first couple of goals as we watch. No, it's a horrible mix-up, isn't it?
I think at quarter time they won't feel as though they've got reward for effort, North Melbourne. I think they've won a fair part of this quarter, but the scoreboard says they're only a point in front, and it's been a fair bit on the back of that man there, Luke Hodge. He's a gun.
So Dean Laidley bringing the intensity he always does, but not getting the reward from his team that he would have hoped, given how well they've actually played in general play. Costly indecision, as it turned out. Out of the middle. Rioli will take the honours there. Rough head up to meet it. Watt. Urquhart. Again, just a moment's hesitation. Not able to take the first option. And a ball up.
Scrambled really well, North Melbourne, the first quarter. And the free kick's being paid. Must have been something at the bottom of the pack.
He handballs it while he was on his bottom. Osborne out to Lewis and then to Franklin direction. Young had it punched away. Wells summed it up nicely. Simpson back for Wells. Oh, scrappy looking but effective. Harvey could have switched play but decided to keep it on the southern side of the ground. That's where the numbers were for North. And Shannon Grant had to kick hurriedly to half forward. And there's Hawks there to sweep up. Brown's handball was under pressure and it was a little scrappy. The tackle could have been a little bit over the top too. Now it's going to have to be holding the ball. If he didn't pay it as an illegal tackle.
Good work from Ops there, who really put Campbell Brown under pressure and applied a very good tackle to cause this turnover.
Well, you'd think it's just a little bit beyond him from there. High ball to the top of the square. Ops is in the mix with a number of Hawthorn players. Big run off the ruckman up and on the ground level crew getting into action. This is Morton after receiving the handball across from Gillum, and now the Hawks with Murphy and Birchall again, and Ellis ready for the next link in the chain. He provides the protection. The run comes from Tuck. Osborne comes along for the ride but falls over. Lucky they had back off. Ranoff and Birchall and Jew. And Buddy Franklin, we saw this last corner, released into the middle. He was just starting to get up and running, and the siren ends an opening quarter, which I think throws a fair bit of interest up for what we're going to see for the rest of the day. North lead by a point. They certainly deserve to be in front. Both sides have had trouble, Das, in terms of hitting targets. North sort of getting stuck out wide, but I guess more importantly, Hawthorn, the North defenders have been able to read their kicks into the 50.
Yeah, they did that pretty well. Shannon Watt took a couple of marks from Hawthorn kicks in defence, and Lockie Hansen was good getting back and stopping Buddy.
This is the Buddy factor and how North have been able to get in the road.
I think they've set up pretty well. Drew Petrie mentioned in the call in the first quarter, started at centre forward and pushed back into defence. Shannon Watt helped out Josh Gibson one-on-one. Buddy's going to beat just about anyone. So he's had some good support. Gibson played it pretty well there. I think he'd be pretty happy with his first quarter's effort, Josh Gibson. All
right, the margin is 1 as Dean Ladley makes his way back up to the box. We make our way downstairs.
Get your eyes up and go long down the line. That was the first thing he did. You saw him doing it there when he got to the quarter-time huddle. Nathaniel Wells was the only injury in that first quarter. You heard all about that. The right knee strain. They've done all the testing on that, all the structural testing, and he came back on. Is obviously going to be right to go.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew Marr on the boundary this afternoon. Well, what for the second quarter then, boys? You heard Murray saying Dean Ladley pretty positive, and I guess he has to be in this situation. They've won the quarter.
Oh, he should be positive because their endeavour and their effort was absolutely first class. Lindsay Thomas had a smother in the first part of the first quarter that was great. Nathan Thompson, the big full forwards, laid a couple of great tackles from behind, so you can't fault their effort. As he said, and Andy Marr pointed out, they just at times needed to stop finessing out of defence, kick it to a one-on-one contest on the wing. They're a young side, so their skill efficiency is always going to be something that's improving as they get more experience into them. But if they can hit their targets out of defence and maintain this pressure and intensity, they are a massive chance today.
Mitchell still working around the 50-metre mark, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it has been an interesting move. We saw him kick a great goal in the first quarter because he's just so poised and balanced. I'm sure that as the game progresses, he'll get back into the centre square.
Second quarter from the MCG, Saturday afternoon footy. And the Kangaroos with a big challenge today against Hawthorn, who are rated as the second best chances to win the flag in 2008. Campbell stands underneath. Of course, no McIntosh today for the Kangaroos. Lewis and Hodge, two of their best out of the middle. And they look like they mean business. Rioli, and the movement was great. Mark Williams took a long time to size up what was ahead, maybe too much time, as he just glided through the forward line. And he levels the scores, but really, under the circumstances, probably should have done better.
Geez, Luke Hodge is in good form at the moment. When he gets to footy, something positive happens at every occasion. Brady Rawlings has spent a bit of time going with him. He's had 7 disposals, but you need one of those great lockdown rolls from Brady Rawlings today.
Bradley Gibson, who just slipped as he kicked and forced the error. Due, dangerous. Well done, Jones, who's applied great pressure. Lewis slow to get to his feet. And North Melbourne, what's the umpire going to do here? He's going to call for it. It's Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, is it a finger?
That's
or wrist.
Talk about the courage in the game. Players are asked to be reckless. That's just something you have to do. Keep your eye on the footy. Great effort from both those players.
So Petrie to do battle with Campbell. Third man up, Wells. Rioli, dynamic again. Little banana kick with the left boot towards the pocket. Franklin's got to beat a couple. Well done by Hansen, who's done a couple of nice things. Lockie Hansen off to Watt. This time he takes his coach's advice, kicks long to a one-on-one contest. Harding now, he's got blistering speed. Well, we see it here. Kicks towards half forward. Gee, numbers with the Hawks, though. Comes to the back. Chance for Thompson. Well done, Birchall. Desperate stuff. Just got underneath Nathan Thompson. Dropped the football. Thompson comes back with a second effort around the body. Jones or Campbell. Brown, did he push him out? No. Chance at the back. Campbell tries to paddle it towards Simpson. Desperate stuff by Morton, and he was just taken high, put himself in the position to draw the free kick, and the Hawks can work it out of defence.
It's going to be interesting, Das, as they head forward, North, with their tall forwards when the ball hits the ground, isn't it? They got out at half forward. Whether they got that agility on the ground level, they're certainly showing lots of great endeavour. That could have been holding the ball. Lower got a handball away. Shannon Grant, instant play on required at the moment. The tackling is fierce, but they've been able to ride it out, North. Thomas under some duress as he kicks for Thompson. Jones was ready. Again, both players just couldn't quite dispose of it the way they wanted to, with the big man just going to ground as he got the handball away, Nathan Thompson, and then Corey Jones's kick went about half distance, but it's enough to give them the lead back, and now Birchall with the rebound.
It's a good point you make, Hutto, because Hale and Thompson are going to have to be very good at ground level, but they've both started really well laying tackles, and their second efforts on the ground have been very good so far.
Campbell finds Hodge in the corridor. What a player he is. Great run from halfback by Gillam. Kicks from the wing. Beautiful kick it was too. Finding Mitchell. Sam Mitchell in an unfamiliar role.
Look at Buddy just behind him there.
Lurking.
I'm here if you need me.
Just wanting the little handoff. He'll try it again.
He wants it again.
Gets it. He'll need to kick it from 16 blazes away. A finger breaker as it will land. In fact, no one was even game to even touch it, and Harding knocks it through for a rush behind in the end.
Sam Mitchell could turn around and said, I could have done that.
Just shows the presence that he's got on a footy field, Buddy Franklin. Teammates just want to give him the footy. Doesn't matter where he is. They just expect him to do the miraculous.
And we want them to as well, don't we?
Absolutely.
From a spectacle point of view, now Ferrito drifting up at half back.
Oh.
Hodge was bearing down. Well thought out by Rawlings. Now, not paid. I reckon that's really good umpiring.
And we see a lot of that with this new introduction of the head-high tackle. Now watch his head go straight onto the oncoming player.
Yep.
In days gone by, you would have turned yourself to protect your head. But because you can get a free kick for it now, players are happy to expose them. Not expose themselves, but expose their head.
Don't get Das talking on that. He gets very passionate, does our Rules Committee member. Here's Lewis with the handball through the middle. Clinton Young, and he can get up and going. He's a fine runner, but was lucky not to be pinged then. It doesn't really matter because there is North Melbourne players galore, and Thomas goes to Campbell. There's a touch of the old Cracker Brothers about them, isn't there, with the way they combine?
Gee, I've been impressed with Corey Jones. Hasn't got a lot of the football, but 3 or 4 really good efforts at the football, couple of great tackles, and has really set a great example.
Been impressed with their whole side, Chris. Put their body on the line. They've tackled hard, thrown themselves into the contest, and these two young fellas, Thomas and Campbell, they are beauties.
19-6 for the season for Campbell. He's already got one today, and you can mark another one in your book right now. And North take a 1-goal lead.
Heard Andy Maher in the pre-game talk about the North Melbourne Shimbona spirit. If you say it to a North Melbourne player, they actually get pretty fired up. They get frustrated by it. But I see it as a term of endearment. I see it as a mark of respect for the way they go about it. They've brought, whatever you want to call it, they've brought it to the table today against an opposition that's in good form. They're going very well.
Dean Laidley and North Melbourne doing pretty well. Lead by 6 points. Campbell wins this one. Chance for Harding, or tried to and almost got it back to Simpson, but instead gets it wide to Wells. Wells runs towards 50, off to Harvey, runs to 45. Brent Harvey kicks it goal and puts it through for a behind. Just across the face. Gee, that would have been a good tonic for them if he was able to kick that. Margin 7 points.
He's had 9 touches, Harvey, which surprised me. I didn't realise he'd had that much impact on the game, but always such a danger. 3 this quarter, and we've only been going 6 minutes. Brent Guerra got himself into a corner there a little bit. He always had the chop out with Ladson, and there's extra numbers there for the Hawks. Campbell, Brown, and now Mitchell, and they're safely out. Although he was committed to going on, and that almost caused some troubles. Almost caused some drama. Morton over to Lewis, and then into the middle, and Campbell. Just so good on the overlap, aren't they? The Hawks, always numbers running from behind to help out. And now Williams marks the Hodge kick, and we get to see Franklin versus Gibson again. So easily done by Buddy, like no one else can. There's one. He didn't kick one of the last quarter last week, but taken to the second today.
It's the first real one-on-one contest in the air that we've seen between Gibson and Franklin. And Gibson actually had pretty good body position, but the strength and the athleticism, his recovery at ground level is just unbelievable. They can't afford too many one-on-one contests between those two. They need to get back and support him.
Lance Franklin capable of anything, and his great skills on display here. Out-muscled Gibson and then bounced it through for his first goal of the afternoon. And the margin back to a point in favour of North Melbourne. Back in the centre. Renouf gets it down. Mitchell. Morton behind Young. Backed up though by Lewis. Gee, taking a long time to get rid of it. It's got to be pinged here, and he is. Free kick to North.
Been pretty consistent with that this afternoon.
So Harding kicks it towards Harris, who's drifted down. Oh, front on contact from Tuck. And, oh gee, I hope he's okay. Harris gets up limping. Looks as though he'll be okay. He'll kick from about 40. This is the tackle from Harding. And that's a free kick every day of the week.
It's another example of the commitment that North Melbourne have brought to the game today. They've been tackling incredibly well. Courage back with the flight. Free kick was there.
Travis is...
You've never had owned up to a free kick, have you, Chris? You're never happy when one goes against you.
No, you're never happy, but
you're
surely...
a backman,
surely...
Used to spit the dummy with the best of them.
Never gave one away. So Harris from 40 metres straightens up. As it got the carry, it has. North by 7 points.
Free kick against Travis Tuck, front on contact. Players should understand that rule. And it was always going to be a free kick. Daniel Harris got up holding his knee, but he's fine, ended up slotting through the goal. Been a fantastic start to this game by North Melbourne. Really playing great, tough, contested footy.
Hawthorn having a lot more of the ball in this game. 142 disposals to 114 at last count. But the margin is at 7. Tuck. And this is the second level of Hawthorn midfielders, particularly with Mitchell spending a fair bit of time out of the centre. It's going to be interesting to see how they go. Mitchell's in there at the moment. Lewis watching Wells there. Oh, Martin Ellis. Oh, well, he calls that fair. Simpson to half forward. Here's the busy Harding. Good side on the inside for Corey Jones. Might actually work out better that Harris left it behind because it confused the Hawthorn defenders. And the North players spread. Harding, great determination down there. If we go around, not so good eyesight though. Straight to Brent Harvey. Does that count as a goal assist?
I reckon Brent Harvey must have called for that because he was the only player in the area. Here's this, the bounce. Oh,
not Martin's
that's a stinker, is it? Isn't it, eh? Oh. Now, watch Campbell Brown here. This, well, maybe he was trying to get it to Gillum. But under pressure.
Well, I reckon he said Brownie, Brownie, Brownie.
Well, why not? Not the first time, Anthony. Stuart Dew. All okay with Stewie Dew down there, Andy?
Well, Chris, they've been working on the hamstring, and it's always an issue when you see them working on his hamstrings for about 5 or 6 minutes now. It looks like everything's okay.
Well done, Hale, down to Harris. His main problem was getting through his captain, Adam Simpson, there. And he's been pinged, held onto it for too long. Hawthorn free kick out of the centre.
Hawthorn free kick.
Now, Hawthorn fans want 50.
No effort at all. Play on.
Renoff back to Morton, who kicks it direct towards Boyle. Good spoil from Hansen. Boyle's first to recover though. Handball in the tackle towards Hodge. Wells sees it over.
Gee, Hodge, he was being held by Wells and he was not happy about it either.
Buddy Franklin just moved to centre forward and pushed up the ground. It looks as though North Melbourne are happy for Shannon Watt to take him further up the ground and Josh Gibson closer to goal. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Boyle over the top, third man up Gibson. Little handball didn't get over Williams. It was intended for Simpson. Harris fighting hard. Williams back into the fray. Gibson disposed of it by Franklin. Good tackle. And might have just been held a bit too long. Advantage paid as Harris to Jones. To Harvey. Somehow it got to him. He's pole driven by Renoff and it's been called a throw. So Renoff with the free kick.
Showed some good signs, young Renoff, Chris O.
Certainly has.
Jordan.
Did very well there, but it's got to come back.
I think they've got these decisions holding the ball fairly right today, and they've been fairly consistent. Had plenty of opportunity. Boomer Harvey, they'd have to be holding the ball.
Not sure about plenty of opportunity. He had an opportunity. He was going pretty quick, and he just only had it momentarily.
He ran 15 metres, Anthony. Probably enough opportunity.
Lewis delivers for Morton.
Don't know what game you're watching.
I don't know if you're in real estate or not, Das, but I'm buying. Here's the kick. Long bomb from Morton with a good wind-up into the pocket. Osborne was there at the front, and that was a rough head floating over the back.
North Melbourne defenders will be really happy with the long ball going to a packed situation. They've organised their defence very well today. Haven't seen too many one-on-one contests for the Hawthorn forwards.
Gee, dangerous tap from Haley. Did knock to the voice. Gibson's over it. He's going to get a free from the back, and that's frustrating. I guess it was there. And now Simpson will go to Gibson.
This is where they've had trouble.
Big trouble, haven't
turned
they?
it over here a lot so far today.
They're still willing to handball. Harris for Harvey. On for Roy. It's getting worse every handball for Rito.
Someone's got to kick it.
And it's Brent Harvey that kicks it. Renoff got a big mid in the road. Drew Petrie now, they can really go. Open space in front of Shannon Grant. Can he get it to the advantage of a teammate? Was that little hands in the back on Campbell? He almost paid a free against himself, didn't he there? Murphy turned around and looked at the umpire, and there was no whistle. And Guerra forced to concede. Good pressure from Thomas.
How good is that stuff from Lindsay Thomas? Just making sure that every time
Here it is. Now that's well, it's hard to see from our angle, and we had the same angle as the umpire, so perhaps he wasn't convinced, but gee, it looked like his hand was right in the middle of Campbell's back.
Now they're going again. Rioli through the middle. Birchall. Couple to go for. And Mark Williams with the flight.
Good courage shown by Mark Williams there. Didn't know what was coming the other way. Committed himself to the contest.
He runs back to take his kick. Now he's going to settle.
2 metres, 1. That's it, mate.
Yeah, smart kick, and as you said, Chris, that takes courage. Had to expect he was going to be cleaned up then.
Had a career equal high total of 17 disposals last week. 2-3 in total after being goalless for 3 weeks, Mark Williams. So he's found out where they are again. Back to an 8-point game.
He's got a beautiful natural kicking action, Mark Williams. It's very easy and very relaxed. In his prime years, a couple of years ago, when he was a 60-plus goal kicker, his accuracy was sensational. He's now the third or fourth string forward with Buddy Franklin and Roughhead and Boyle amongst the others, and I think that role suits him.
Thanks, Rob.
Alistair Clarkson, the Hawthorn coach, watches on as the Hawks draw to within 8 points. Campbell counts for Petrie. Beautiful palm to Mitchell, off to Lewis. Well done, Harris. Oh, he hunted down the Lewis handball, then gathered the 40. Off to Shannon Grant from 45, and he drills it. Full marks to Daniel Harris there. Was able to block the Lewis handball. To watch it again, and then somehow find the footy. Oh, gee, that was great stuff. And off to Shannon Grant. And we know when Shannon Grant gets his confidence up, he's a deadly player. Well played by the North.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, Chris, as you said. You see the excitement from Shannon Grant. When your teammates put in that sort of effort, he's got a good feeling about today for North Melbourne.
The Hawks continuing their trend of being slow starters. They've now lost the last 5 of their last 6 first quarters. And this is continuing in the second quarter with Mitchell under duress, able to escape, and with a bit of hand from Hodge. It was classy stuff. What a beautiful for Roughhead. This is why they're going to be in it no matter almost how long the game goes, because they can just turn it on in a flash.
Class of Sam Mitchell, the strength that he's got through his core in a contested situation, able just to ride off 1 or 2 or 3 tackles. You can see that there, look at that. And then the handball to Hodge, and the kick was just magnificent. The North tackles have stuck. They've put the Hawks under a fair bit of pressure. That one didn't work out.
He's kicked 3 goals at least in 9 out of 12 games this year, Jared Roughhead. His radar is certainly not working so well today. That's his second behind, and the Kangaroos still leading by 13.
Stay there, Mark.
Pratt gets it to Urquhart, right half back.
This is the kick that Dean Lathey said, kick it long, 50 metres to a contest. Get us out of trouble. He does it.
To the wing, Petrie in front, and almost a good strong mark. Good work though by Campbell. Just did enough to spoil it.
It's just a better play, isn't it? It takes the pressure off a young kid who's only played a handful of games rather than trying to manufacture something across half-back. Kick it to your big ruckman, Drew Petrie. Have another go at it.
So Campbell against Petrie, ineffective ruck play. Mitchell, who's really getting into the game. Tuck, the old 1-2, as he loves to do. Sam Mitchell kicks into the corridor and had to stretch, but did. He's taken the mark. Hawks full of running. Guerra, who has drifted down from half-back. Couple of options, kicks short, Roughhead again will get another opportunity. This time opposed to Watt. And he'll kick from 45. Angle about 30 degrees. And it's a hallmark of the Hawthorn game that when they have possession, almost everyone, particularly the half-back line, stream forward and provide options across the midfield. Roughhead's kick this time is A1. Well done. Margin back to 7 points, and Jared Roughhead, geez, a great ball for Lance Franklin. You've also got the tall target there of Tim Boyle up forward for Hawthorn.
See the Buddy Franklin in the goal square doing his work on Josh Gibson, and Shannon Watt is opposed to Jared Roughhead at the moment. They've swapped over those matchups on a few occasions and just got caught in the transition a little bit there.
And Sam Mitchell, a real generator in this quarter for Hawthorn, up to 9 touches for the term, 16 for the match. Harvey busy with 6 for the Kangaroos. Back to a 7-point ball game at the MCG. Petrie and Harris fighting each other to get the release. Simpson and now Rawlings. Lower, looks up, has a good strong lead provided by Obst and also by Thompson, but decides to go more centrally to Harris, and there's just Hawthorn players galore. This could really sting the Roos. Dew took a long time, but he's got Mitchell, now Morton, into the path of Roughhead again. Lower went back, it just eluded him, stolen by Ferrito. Got the first part of the job done. Now can he hit a teammate? He had some options on the wing. Allowed Wells to run onto it, but the anticipation was much better by Guerra. The margin stands at 7 as the Hawks work it out and swing into attack again.
Chance for Mitchell, got it from Ellis, got it towards half-forward and Dew's mark. Now within kicking distance here, Stewie Dew. Intent on passing, and he did it beautifully to Roughhead, who came from the goal square with purpose. And for, well, the third time in a couple of minutes, he'll kick for goal from around 45 metres.
Well, they've got to stem the flow through the midfield. Sam Mitchell is on fire. He's had 18 disposals. It's time to make a change. I'd go to their skipper, Adam Simpson. He's their most experienced player at the moment. Daniel Harris has spent some time on him. You just can't allow him that much space, Sam Mitchell. He'll cut you up.
So Jared Roughhead in a little purple patch here. Chance for his second from 45. Oh, pulls the kick.
They've been let off the hook, Chris, there.
1 goal 3, Luke, to Jared Roughhead.
Yeah, inside 50s are coming very frequently for Hawthorn at the moment. They need to just tighten up a little bit on Mitchell. Have to go with a really hard tag, and I think Simpson's the man.
Harvey along the line. Shannon Watt sinks the boot in. Rawlings looks up, doesn't see a lot. Thompson is trying to present across the 50. Hale's down there a bit further as well. He's calling for it. Again, Hawthorn forcing him wide to the boundary. Thompson with 2 Hawks to beat. And that was somewhat inevitable in the end.
Really big period of the game this is. The momentum seems to have switched back Hawthorn's way. North Melbourne really need to find something and see if they can create some more scoring opportunities.
Hale, this man is always in the thick of it when scoring's to be done. Handball from Harris, though, intercepted by Campbell. And we're going to have a lockup.
That part of the game has been fantastic for North Melbourne. They've pressured the Hawthorn side really well, tackled really well. Just wondering at half-time whether they're just eyeing off the break. They need to maintain their intensity. Otherwise, the quality of Hawthorn just comes through Mitchell and Hodge and these players. They just, if they get enough of the footy, they burn you.
Not a lot going on there. There's some inaccurate kicking in this quarter. Jared Refford, 1 goal 3. Here's Sam Mitchell and his opponents. He has spent a bit of time on Simpson and carved him up, but also he's had 2 other opponents. The ball inside the 50. Thompson, they've locked it in there. Well done, Ops. Just disposed like the evening rubbish there. The Hawks just ganging up as if they've been stung into action here a little bit by the intensity of the Kangaroos. Guerra took all the time, and he had some too. Young interfered with by Harding, who's had a good season.
Been very quiet. Clinton Young, he's only had the 2 disposals. He's played 37 minutes of game time. Lee Harding's been doing a great job on him.
Wants to switch play, Young. He's got a couple of options, although the further he runs, the more they close up. Kicks it long to Murphy, who's able to play on quickly. Rioli in front of Urquhart. Now Murphy keeps going. Rioli ignores him for the minute, then goes longer over his head towards Hodge. Big fist, double fisted from Petrie. Sees it to the boundary line. Boundary throw in half forward for Hawthorn.
Just moved Drew Petrie back across half back, trying to shore up their defence, just coming into the half-time break.
Wins the ruck contest. Tuck tries to crash his way through. Just slipped down in the tackle and copped it high. And he'll kick from about 55. Travis Tuck. Waiting patiently. Oh, well done. Great stuff that from Shannon Watt, outmarking Tim Boyle. Kick wasn't great.
He had a good first half, Chris O'Shannon Watt. Playing on a bit of Buddy Franklin, a fair bit of Jared Ruffhead. Taking some strong marks.
Tim Boyle's been on the ground for 46 minutes, only had 3 disposals so far. No marks.
It's a challenge for the Hawthorn side, isn't it? Their forward line mix. There's so much talent there. Williams, Boyle, Franklin, Ruffhead, Rioli. Just getting the mix to work week in, week out is a bit of an issue for them.
Hard to get a kick with Ruffhead and Franklin down there.
Well, it's a challenge for all the teams, isn't it? We've seen that with multiple key forwards.
Kick to Hale, who marks in centre wing.
Got to say they listen to instructions, the North Melbourne players. Andy Marr told us that quarter time that they were told they've got to kick down the line to a contest, and they've done it every time in the second quarter.
Ball kick.
Except for them.
Yep, knocked out of bounds. And this, the major difference between the two sides at the moment is North Melbourne kick, mark, and Hawthorn have got so much flow to their game, so much run from behind, allows them to carry the football. Harvey, Riggio now. Here's a chance for North. Ferrito has snuck down inside, attacking 50. And gets some treatment from Murphy, but he's marked directly in front, 40 metres from goal. And a chance here to increase the margin. Hansen did reasonably well there just to keep Murphy at bay.
Very important shot on goal this. If they could kick this and then go into half-time 12 points in front, it would be an enormous effort from North Melbourne.
Hasn't kicked a goal in 2008. Michael Ferrito. North need this.
Shanked it.
Yeah, not a great shot. Not a great effort there from Michael Ferrito. And a behind only, the margin out to 7 points.
Xavier Ellis. And the Hawks 7 points behind here, and North Melbourne have really laid a challenge down to them. And as Christo said, they've had some run and flow, but they've also missed some shots in front of goal, and this is what they're so good at doing. Can they take it all the way? Morton had to look behind for help, and they've turned it over again. Riggio got dumped after he got in there. You can see the determination from Travis Tuck. That was good stuff.
And the problem there for Morton was he looked up and all he could see was Drew Petrie floating across, well, half forward for Hawthorn, and that's what forced him to go back.
Alistair Clarkson trying to maintain his composure in the box. Big Renoff. Went against nobody in the ruck at all there. I'm not sure what the Kangaroos were thinking, where their 2 big blokes are. Can they get a ruckman to the contest this time? Yes, Drew Petrie comes out of the forward line to go against Renoff. And Renoff did well with body position and got the tap down.
Shown some good signs, Renoff, today.
Of course, they've lost Max Bailey, who was their other backup ruckman for the rest of the season, which is
Really disappointing for the young bloke. Anthony's a terrific young kid. He's going to have a great future in the game. For another 12 months on the sidelines, Max Bailey, but he'll come back bigger and better.
Well, a couple of junior ruckmen there, and Harrison Osborne had the honours. The bouncing hasn't been a major feature, at least a couple of them. So it's a bit of a standoff here, just coming up to half time. It's almost like everyone's agreed that they're tired and exhausted going to the break, and they'll just play a bit of keep things off on the half forward flank.
Goal either way will be massive though, Hutto, into half time. So it's a big couple of minutes for both sides.
Franklin somehow extracts the footy, not going too far though. Handballs it forward. Desperate stuff from Young. Got it to Taku. Very quick to get it to Rioli, off to Osborne, and he pinpoints the pass to Lewis, who just had a thought for a fraction of a second that he might keep going, but decides that the safe thing to do is to go back and kick the goal from 40 metres directly in front.
And a noticeable difference in the efficiency by foot for the Hawthorn players. Michael Osborne, not known as an elite kick, but able to spot up Jordan Lewis there with a beautiful pass.
And that was generated by Buddy, wasn't it? A clearance from Buddy, so there he is up the ground doing some work.
Just one goal for the year for Jordan Lewis, and that probably explains why. Just scraping in for a behind.
He had his issues last year with his few shots at goal, didn't he? Remember trying to kick across the ball a few times when he was in front of goal. The margin is 6 as we close it on in at half-time. Ferrito.
Thanks, Ken.
Luke Darcy going to analyse some of the big issues in footy coming up at half-time. He's got some very strong things to say as Wells finds Petrie through the middle. He's got a man on if he could just get it nicely over the top to Harris. Hansen is loose down here. Thompson fell over, but young Hansen went hard at the ball, kept it alive, got involved again, just couldn't get the handball off to the man he wanted to. And now the Hawks can pounce into action. Morton to the man whose back was to goal in Osborne. So it took a little while, but eventually they'll get it through the middle. He was sweating and ready to go. The youngsters bring it to action. Hansen back to Harris, and they will hit a target this time. So Nathan Thompson against his old team. Chance for a telling blow on the bell.
First time I've had a chance to see Lockie Hansen. He was a very early draft pick, I think number 3 in the draft, and he's just showing some signs that he went back with the flight, kept his eye on the footy. That was a handball of his to Daniel Harris.
He played 3 games last year, had some injury problems and had some form issues, and
he's a big athletic lad, isn't he?
They've talked about him being a key position player, but from what we saw on the NAB Cup and even today, I think where they've got him now, sort of floating in from a flank or a wing, looks like he can create a bit of havoc. Let's watch Nathan Thompson. Really important kick for them at half-time, or just about. He's done the job. So only 10 seconds from the major break in a low-scoring, tight encounter. It is North Melbourne now with a 2-goal advantage.
And that's reward for effort for Nathan Thompson. See the great intercept there by Obston. There's Lockie Hansen, we mentioned, who set up the goal. But Nathan Thompson started this game with 2 fantastic rundowns from behind. And his forward pressure's been sensational. He's only had the 6 disposals and just kicked the 1 goal. But I love it's good karma. When you work hard and you do the good 1% things, Hutto, you get rewarded with goals.
There's a new word in football then, Chriso. Karma.
I don't know if it's a new word, is it? Hello? It's a reward for effort. He deserves it.
Disposals per goal there. You can see North Melbourne very efficient. Petrie's played a very good half of football, and we'll get a secondary bounce.
Travis.
A couple of seconds left on the clock. Umpire McInerney calls for it.
Is there a stat on karma, Daz?
It's 1 to Nathan Thompson so far.
And that's it. Half-time at the MCG, and North Melbourne, full credit to them. They'll go into the long break leading by a couple of goals.
Been an incredible effort in the first half from North Melbourne. Didn't think that they were going to be able to compete as well as they have done today. They've brought great intensity, great effort. That man on screen just kicked an important goal going into half-time. Going to build into a sensational second half.
All right, we're ready for the third quarter then from the MCG. And it's North leading by 2 goals. Can they go on with it? We're about to find out.
Campbell versus Petrie. And as we get the second half underway, Campbell to Lewis. Campbell in the end does his own roving. Off to Jude, to Osborne. Good handball. Good play by Robert Campbell. Another effort as he scrambles it towards half forward. Good hands from Williams. Forced to concede ground back to Mitchell. What a blistering opening half it was from Sam Mitchell. Stuart Jew chips across the ground. Ellis. Birchall providing the run to Roughhead, I should say. And Jared Roughhead just outside 50. And the way they switched the play and the runners from half back, this time it was Birchall. They do it so well. Guerra now. 60 from goal. Just kicks it to the hot spot, 20 metres from the Hawthorn goal. Going back, Obst couldn't hold on, but See the numbers with North Melbourne at ground level. Ferrito shares it with Petrie, Harvey, and now Wells at half-back. 20-metre handball to accommodate his teammate in Jones. Off to Wobbs, who kept running. Well played. Oh, she ran a long way. Hale was pushed off the kick, and that's where they're getting themselves into trouble in the first half. Jones, Thompson, not much to go to. The long target is Hansen. Chopped of the arms, and he gets the free kick.
You might have eyes on the footy street, but you're still holding the head.
Well done again from young Lockie Hansen. Just eyes for the footy. It's a really good sign for a young athletic ruckman. Copped another one on the ground his way through. Plenty more of those to come in his career, but I've liked a few of the things I've seen today. His aerial work looks good, and it looks pretty good at ground level as well.
Made his debut round 1 of last year, and in those days had the big font going, but a bit more streamlined. Lockie Hansen from 50 just pulls the kick a little bit, and Hawks there in number to force it through for a behind, so the lead out to 13 points.
Birchall marks the kick back into play. Margin 13, as we said, early days in this third quarter. Xavier Ellis at centre half back, had Mitchell on with the immediate little short pass, but decided he wanted to go longer. Just looking at the stats, it is interesting that North Melbourne have gone by hand a lot today, which seems to be something that other teams have done again to try and get through the Hawthorn web, as Osborne's got Williams away here. And Williams wanted to go to Franklin. It wasn't really high percentage stuff, was it?
No, they'll just go to him almost at every occasion. If he leads, they just back him in to win the footy. Shannon Watt started this quarter on him. If he pushes up to centre forward, Watt takes him, and he did pretty well then, Shannon Watt.
Both sides with more handballs than kicks in this game, and here the Roos go again by hand, trying to work their way out of defence. Now the kick from Wells, the high one. They've got the extra centimetres here. David Hale uses those to advantage. He's got Grant away further on, but Simpsons decides to go to centre half forward. And again, the target is Hansen, and took that one with great authority and can get it moving. Nathan Thompson coming out of the square. Shannon Grant just kept on running, and he just moved away beautifully. Didn't give away the free, just edged off Campbell Brown. And now the important bit is the shot for goal.
Well, a lot of talk during the week. It was a really intelligent kick from Adam Simpson to Lockie Hansen. Gave him a good run, and it's a good, strong, contested mark from the young fella. And his kick as well to Adam Simpson. It just favoured, Shannon Grant. Used the body really well. He's had 10 disposals lining up for his third goal. He's been a champion through his career, Shannon Grant, and came back into form today after a bit of pressure during the week.
What a difference a great kick makes. He was always in the good spot there against Campbell Brown because the kick was perfectly weighted.
They've been winning the contested footy both on the ground, 61-48, and in particular in the air, 9-2 the contested mark count. The accuracy is just so crucial. It didn't look great, but it's a goal. And we're out to 19 now.
No opposition sides, when Shannon Grant lines up in the forward line, you go and put a very, very good defender on him. I think Campbell Brown would arguably be their best defender. He had to come across and cover in that situation. You've got to be wary of a player of Shannon Grant's ability, regardless of his form, and that's why he's so important. He's just continually been a solid player for nearly 300 games.
Some concerns for Alistair Clarkson, and Shannon Grant, who hadn't kicked a goal in his last 3 games, has kicked 3 this afternoon. And the margin out to 19 points. Petrie decisively forward, only as far as Jude. He shares it with Hodge. Lewis, now Osborne. Good chase from Hansen, but Osborne was able to get the kick away. And well played by Young. Got rid of Harding, then kicks towards Williams. Ferrito did enough. Williams fighting at ground level. Mitchell dangerous from here from 30 metres. Was missed by a long way. Scrapes in for a behind. So seemed to have a little bit of time. Hawthorn fans not happy.
He still looms to me as the man that North Melbourne have to stop. He's the leading disposal getter on the ground. He's had 21. They need to stop him to win this game, I believe.
Numbers with the Hawks. Birchall. Campbell. Oh, gives it straight to Shannon Grant. Turnover here. Grant kicks. Thompson in a good spot. Well done. Well played by Gillen. Brown arrives on the scene to lend a hand, and he's taken high by Hansen. So he'll relieve the pressure. And just for the moment, Lewis marks at centre-half back.
The Hawthorn accuracy, they've kicked 2 goals 7 from their shots that have been in generally in front of goal, which is obviously extremely costly. Mark Williams with the bounce. Just the audacity to try and make sure of it, but unfortunately he too has missed a relatively simple shot, even though that was on the run with a bit of pace up. Will it come? Will it click for them? The margin is now sitting on 17, and that's a dangerous kick from Pratt. Get hands to it. He did better than that. He took the mark. Lloyd Harding.
He was actually aiming for Adam Simpson about 20 metres further on the ground, shanked it, and fortuitously landed in the lap of Harding.
Gee, Hansen was going to always have to work hard there. We've seen them break down a number of times. North Melbourne along the wing today. Here's Jordan Lewis, who hasn't had a massive influence, but he's still had 13 disposals. Hawthorn have had a lot of the footy, but as I mentioned, they've had more handballs than kicks. 35 to 20 the disposals for this quarter. That must have been just on the line. Oh, Franklin, was that conceding a free or not?
Good umpiring. Good umpiring. Let it go.
And while they're playing, the others are getting on with the actual action. Lower, away from Osborne. The pace from Harding. The look away handball was okay on this occasion. Rawlings feeding Jones. Look at him burst on the outer side. Thought he might have kicked there, but decides to handball to Wells, and it all works out for the best. Rawlings over the top. A lot of space here for Thomas to hit the man on the lead. It's Shannon Grant again. Just couldn't take it. He flashes back through on the right boot. Oh, he's got it online. Sensational from Thomas. And it needed to be too. It takes some brilliance, not just hard work, if they're going to knock out the Hawks today. And Thomas with a couple of bits of play here that was just terrific. And he got the angles right.
If the first kick had been perfect, he wouldn't have needed to do all that extra work.
That was the celebration from Shannon Grant. Look at this. He goes over and just rubs his face. He was so wrapped with the effort that he put in Lindsay Thomas. They've got an enormous amount of spirit today at the North Melbourne side. I reckon this man started it with a great smother about 4 minutes into the first quarter. I love the way he plays. I love the way Matt Campbell plays as well, just running around and putting pressure on the opposition defence. They're great assets in this side.
Biggest lead of the match out to 23. Petrie wins it forward. Little fumble from Mitchell. Now he's under the pump. Chance for Simpson. Get rid of it. He does. Petrie back to Wells. Paddles it to Harvey. Around a couple. Rawlings off a step towards full forward. Jones into the action. And Corey Jones hasn't had a lot of the football. Although having said that, he's had 8 disposals, a couple of marks, but his pressure, we mentioned it in the first half, his tackling and attack at the ball all afternoon has been of a very high calibre. And for the first time, an opportunity to really get on the scoreboard and extend this lead out to 29 points.
Their forward line looks really dangerous now. Shannon Grant's on fire. Corey Jones looks dangerous. Nathan Thompson, Lindsay Thomas. They've got scoring options.
There he is, Corey Jones from 40 metres. He's kicked a goal. The margin is out to 29. A little worrying now, perhaps, for the Hawks, Luke.
Oh, it is. All the momentum and all the plays with North Melbourne. Just mentioned their forward line set up. Corey Jones has got Campbell Brown for a matchup, and as you said, Chriso, his work rate's been fantastic. He hasn't dominated, but he's a handful. The 2 Aboriginal boys are a handful. Thomas and Campbell. Shannon Grant's kicked 3 goals. Nathan Thompson's been good. Very dangerous.
Luke Hodge, Ferrito watching him closely.
They've moved him to the goal square. Hutto and given him plenty of space, so
it's just ahead of the goal square there. They've had the last 15 disposals, the Kangaroos, and that's produced 2 goals. Can Hawthorn get their hands on the footy? Mitchell's the best in the business of doing it.
Really good move from Alistair Clarkson. Luke Hodge has been in sensational form. Buddy Franklin's been pretty well held so far today, so I like the move. Give Hodge some space in the goal square.
Simpson to Wells. That was orchestrated superbly. The big running man was a ruckman, unfortunately. Hale had a long way to bend down. Osborne, though, can't get it cleanly. Thompson with sheer will. broke the lines, but just couldn't nail the goal. And the dam could burst if they can get it beyond 5 goals.
Just a second effort again from David Hale. You said that he tracked the footy and couldn't get it the first time, but he followed up with a great tackle.
And you could see the effort from Nathan Thompson. They're there for the taking, the Hawks. The margin sits at 30.
Guerra finds Murphy. It'll need to come back, though. No, play on's the call. It does come back in any case to Guerra, who kicks towards Morton, who marks in front of Campbell.
Good grab, Chris O, but this is where North Melbourne have played Hawthorn really well. They haven't allowed them the free running footy through the middle of the ground. They've made them stop-start. This is better for Hawthorn. They want to play on, but again, they're having to go wide.
Ellis wide to Murphy. Murphy now from just backward of the wing, measures the kick to Williams, who marks at half forward. Still a couple of kicks from goal. Kick towards half forward. Target was Hodge. Gee, North Melbourne got numbers there, but they all fell over. Well done. Young got it to Hodge, off to Ellis on attacking 50. Clever little handball over the top to Franklin, who tries to bring it around the body from 30. Hasn't got the distance. Rough head. Sensational mark. One-on-one against Josh Gibson. They both had hold of each other. Superior strength shown by Roughhead. One step, and he has kicked a goal for the Hawks. Margin back to 24, and great strength shown by Jared Roughhead.
He's a big, strong young man, Jared Roughhead. Big frame and just able to use his superior body strength to hold out Josh Gibson. Problem for Hawthorn is that every goal they kick, it's taking something special. That was a one-handed grab in the goal square. Just that precision play that we've been accustomed to from Hawthorn is missing. North Melbourne have set up really well today.
He seems the most dangerous man at the moment down there, doesn't he, Jared Roughhead? 2 goals, 3 for the afternoon.
Yeah, they've had a lot of work put into Buddy Franklin. Hutto been able to force him into a lot of 2-on-1 contests. So it's a good side when you've got the ability to put Hodge down there, one out, or also Roughhead.
26 minutes between Hawthorn goals.
This is Riggio, was going the wrong way, had to adjust, and as a result, wasn't clean with the hands. Dew and Lewis, it's as if the Hawks have been stung into action here at the MCG. They're staring at a 4-goal deficit. Again, to really bend down hard. The big man, and coming up with it, Franklin arguing the point with the umpire. 10-10 to 6-10. Harris under some pressure from Morton. He's had 17 disposals. Daniel Harris, 5 clearances. Wasn't the best of kicks. Tough one for Riggio. This is Mitchell. He's ready to release it. Birchall was going to run backwards first, but then a more positive move. And his team's goals direction. Rioli. There's Ops with the acrobatics. Young Ops and also Urquhart both digging in hard here for the Kangaroos. Surrounding and pressuring and willing the footy away from Williams. Oh, Harris had to be a little bit more aware with Morton bearing down. Around the corner it was all okay. Pratt quickly to half forward. 3 Hawks and 3 Roos. So an even contest. The nimble Campbell just ran around the ball a little bit. Campbell Brown and his Hawthorn teammate Grant Birchall see it off and make sure that it's a ball up. 24 points the margin, halfway stage of the 3rd quarter. What a sterling performance it's been from North Melbourne today, considering their relatively poor effort last week against Fremantle.
Ball wide towards Lewis. Right up against the line, concedes ground. Murphy can set up here, and he finds Brown. Off to Tuck, who runs straight into Thomas. Somehow got the handball away back to Brown. And now they're away. Morton off to the run of Birchall. Streams through the middle of the MCG. Kicks very poorly. Good pressure coming. Just affecting the kick ever so slightly. And the mark taken by Watt. Wide to Harvey. Good chase from Franklin. Harvey's kick, though, precise. And the mark's taken by Hansen, who's done some good things in this quarter. Lockie Hansen. Got a loose player, Riggio. Didn't get there. Poor kick. And another turnover. Guerra. Morton. Back to Guerra, and they switch the players they so often do to Lewis. Just had to stop.
That's normally where you'd see Hawthorn be able to then transfer direction. They've got a player on here. Haven't seen this too often. Good grab.
Great mark by Morton. He's laid out his opponent Hansen, and he's away. Long handball. Ladson now. Where will he go? roughhead offers a lead. So does Franklin. Franklin marks. Not sure whether he was going for Franklin because approaching behind him, as we look at the mark there from Morton, the beauty, Hanson's up, so he's okay. And there's the key. You just see roughhead in the background there, dropping short. I reckon the kick was intended for roughhead, but
he's only had one effective disposal in the match out of 7.
He's kicked 1 goal, and that one sprays, in fact, just scrapes in for a behind. So a couple of quieter weeks for Buddy Franklin, even though he did get involved late in the game against.
It might be time for the same move that Alistair Clarkson pulled in the last quarter last week. Let him up the ground, get him across half back, see if he can get 8 or 9 possessions and get his hands on the footy a bit more and leave Roughhead one out closer to goal, maybe keep Luke Hodge closer to goal and find a couple other avenues to score for Hawthorn.
23 in it as we speak. Wells going wide. A gloomy afternoon at the MCG. Lights taking effect. A bit like a twilight match. As we watch Urquhart kick it up to the wing for the North Melbourne side. Murphy uncontested. And the Hawks are lining up through the middle.
This is the way they normally play. Get it back into the corridor. Play on quickly here now, but they're getting well held in this part of the ground.
This is Boyle sent back into defence. Hodge. A few quick hard steps and keeps going with some supply back from Mitchell. But again, the imperfect disposal from the Hawks, run down by Shannon Watt, who ran around the ball. Handballs for Thomas. He was intent on getting rid of it as quick as he could. And again, Boyle a stumbling block. Mitchell as they line up again through the middle of the Hawks. Ladson over the top. Back to Mitchell eventually via Morton. And then Guerra on the outer side. For Dew, will he turn onto that left? He's got Osborne in the goal square. Franklin's about 40 out.
I reckon he just about covered the distance at his best. Doesn't really think that's the case.
Franklin back to the square now, ever mindful of him. And he just changes his mind at the last moment. So Ladson's certainly not going to be within his range. And back they go again to Guerra.
Again, North have defended really well. Forced Hawthorn to chip the ball around and make it a slow play. They've got back really well.
Ladson, tuck. Still too far out to score. 65 from goal. Right half forward. 23 points. Margin did get out to 30 as Tuck decides just to kick long, and he kicks it straight to Ferrito, who marks in the back pocket.
Really good setup from North Melbourne. They had a fast break. Hawthorn kick came out to Stewie Dew. I reckon in hindsight he'd love to have just whipped around, as you said, Hart, on his left foot. Just get it in there. Make it a one-on-one contest for your forwards.
Dangerous kick, but Hale made it look good, and he marks it half back. This is where North have to work from a defensive mindset into an attacking mindset. Get forward, provide an option, provide some run. Short kick to Petrie.
I guess there comes a point, doesn't there, where North have to really believe they're going to go on and win this game, and they've just played this great footy so far. Let's see where they can keep it up.
Jones the target, but again the ball to the back, and just in the last 5 or 6 minutes Hawthorn have taken control of the game, haven't been able to reflect that on the scoreboard, but they're threatening to. Boyle now at half back, kicks it straight. In fact, Simpson just off the interchange bench. Somehow Rioli beat 3 of them. Cyril Rioli is away. A bounce, kicks it up towards full forward, in from the side. Franklin up high, couldn't take the mark at ground level. Ferrito just concedes. Saw a wall of Hawthorn players coming at him, and he decided the best thing to do was to concede a behind.
Instant kick in though, and the Kangaroos can hurt on the counter attack. Thompson knows though there's only Hawthorn players up on the wing. His teammates are all inboard. This is Adam Simpson. It's a big 5 minutes in the game, and the skipper senses that. Boomer Harvey said a couple of weeks ago on radio that he thought Adam Simpson was the greatest captain he's played under, and that included Anthony Stevens and Wayne Carey, a couple of notables.
So Adam Simpson's put his hand up and said, let's just slow it down. There's 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock going to the third quarter. And you see David Hale, they're happy to just tap that one out of bounds and set up. Don't know whether this is the right time to do it with that 5 minutes out. I mean, it's okay if they don't get scored against, but Hawthorn can manufacture a goal or two. They'll go in with a bit of momentum at three-quarter time.
You can see the determination from Tuck and the skills in tight from the Hawks. And Mitchell bursting clear. There's no Hawthorn players on this side, hence his decision to go through the middle. Morton wanted to move it and get it back to him. Forced to go via Ellis and go via the wing. Rioli. And they'll start again. Campbell Brown, this is a great testament to the North pressure. He missed the target, which actually turned out all right. Good determination again from Harding. So the Kangaroos being buffeted here and really squeezed by Hawthorn, but they're so far standing up to the challenge as Harris blazes to half forward.
Big contest on the half forward flank, but neither ruckman and neither player can have an influence, including Shannon Grant, so a boundary throw in.
You can play tempo footy at this stage of the ground, but so long as you keep the ball moving forward rather than going back and across, and at this stage North Melbourne have done that. Maintain possession, but don't go backwards. See if you can keep going forward.
Push out against Campbell. Free kick to Hale at half forward. So chance here for the Kangaroos. Harvey, little dummy around tuck. A bounce and kicks towards Thompson. Boyle in from the side, playing in defence now. Gathers in at ground level. Oh, he runs straight into lower and a boundary throw in. Not a bad result for Tim Boyle, because I reckon he thought he had some space as he turned to the boundary line, but Lower was there just waiting for him. So North deep into attack. Campbell, Boyle again, threads it through the congestion to Ellis. Tuck, Morton, June back to Morton, and they affect the switch, but nothing to go to here whatsoever. Morton, good run by Ellis, who was involved earlier in that chain of handballs, to work hard, provide an option. And now Ladson, here's an opportunity. Off to Young, who chips it short. Rough head. Oh, gee, gave Burrito a really good look at it. Ladson backs up, though. Mitchell, off a step, delivers beautifully done to Young, who can kick it a long way.
Crowd wanted him to run on then, didn't they?
This play's been set up well called, Chris. It was gut run from Xavier Ellis right in the back pocket. He was tired, but he just gritted his teeth, pushed himself an extra 50 metres, and has enabled his teammate now to have a long shot on goal. Clint Young.
Well, this would bring them right back into the ball game from 50 metres. Oh, gee, sprays it. Rough head, Franklin up, and at the back, mark taken by Hodge. Look at the destruction behind him.
Is Josh Gibson a little stiff there? I reckon Buddy Franklin's come through with no attempt at the footy. Let's have a look at this. And just poleaxed Josh Gibson. Is that a free kick?
Well, Franklin looked to be going. No, I think he was involved in the. His thought was to be involved in the contest, involved in the mud.
If Gibson had been a forward, though, Chris,
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, Hodge from 10 metres can bring it back to 16, and he squeezes it home. So North Melbourne out to a 30-point advantage. Now back to 16 as we close in on three-quarter time. And look at the destruction around Luke Hodge, who just stands there. He got rid of Pratt too. I don't know whether that was necessarily legal. But the mark to Hodge and the goal, and all of a sudden Hawthorn right back in this game. Margin back to 16.
So Dean Laidley knows this lead is going to be very hard to defend. In the last 37 minutes, Hawthorn have kicked 2 goals, 6. So they've been circling. Gee, wouldn't a quick answer be great for the Roos now? Simpson with the insert. Thompson almost. Brown batting out of his league in terms of height and weight. Corey Jones, and gee, just summed it up beautifully, didn't he there, Sam Mitchell? 9 disposals for the quarter for Sam Mitchell. One too many handballs for the Hawks. Ran off, got down and got dirty and did well. Morton, and there's another one coming up for Mitchell. But that was under considerable duress. Simpson lower. His teammates weren't ready for it. Nathan Brown was ready, and the Hawks just flying in left, right and centre. This game has gone up a cog or two, and with 60 seconds remaining in the third quarter, we're really looking forward to the last
Is that a mark?
Given it went half a metre, Chris, I would have thought so, but it was pretty clever.
You're on the rules committee, Luke. Maybe you could introduce that. Maybe not. Harris, a handball away. Birchall, Hawks sharing it around. You want to be careful in that area of the ground. And they almost give up a mark to Wells, who's in the wars again. Tark just got the handball away in the nick of time. Now Ellis looks and turns for support. Young looks and turns for the footy, and you can hear footsteps. Urquhart coming. The umpire gives him some latitude. The contest is still on. Petrie clearly first there, and the Kangaroos should be able to sort this out and maybe mount one more challenge for a goal on three-quarter time. Lee Harding.
Just kept an eye on Daniel Wells after that last contest. It was probably one, I reckon, been feeling his knee a little bit. I reckon when you're in good form, you go back a little bit harder on that one, but he's been trying to get off the ground, limping a little bit still, Daniel Wells.
Brown over the top of Jones. Gillum. There's Corey Jones again. Was that a throw? It was interesting handball. The release from Hansen matters little now. That is the end of the third quarter, and the Kangaroos came here today with a massive challenge, and so far they've answered all the questions they needed to answer, Luke, but the big one still remains.
Yeah, it'll be a very fascinating last quarter. 16-point margin it is to North Melbourne.
Well, a win today will go a long way, won't it, towards improving their chances. And they have played very well. 3 goals for Shannon Grant, 2 goals for Campbell, who's been dangerous up forward. 1 for Harvey, 2 for Rufford and for Hodge. And we look at the three-quarter time score there, and the advantage is 16 points. And the coaches, what have they got to work with, boys, in terms of the key legs and key rotations?
Well, Robbie Campbell, we can see, he's had 35 minutes on the interchange. He normally does get a lot of rest. They'll be wrapped that they've got 18 minutes into Luke Hodge, who's been on the interchange 5 times. Cyril Rioldi's had a bit of a spell, as has Mark Williams. And the North Melbourne key rotations, Brady Ruling, they'll be wrapped that he's had that amount of time off the ground. And Daniel Harris has spent 30 minutes on the interchange, but still managed 20 disposals. He's been fantastic. So he'll be fresh. Nathan Thompson and Boomer Harvey just had the 9 minutes off the ground. I reckon this is going to come right down to the last couple of minutes. I can just sense a nail biter. I can feel Buddy Franklin having some sort of impact. He's been quiet today, but just the presence that he's got on the ground.
Hawthorn have looked more threatening when they've been playing well, and we saw in the last 10 minutes of the quarter they kicked a couple of goals in that third quarter, but they looked really dangerous going forward, and that's going to be the problem. They're always going to keep coming at North Melbourne, and can North hold them off? I don't know. They've
been able to restrict their ability to transfer play and cut back in through the corridor. North, they've held them up really well on the mark, made them force the footy out wide to the boundary line. They'll need to do that. It's taken an enormous effort for the North Melbourne side to get into this position. 16 points in front. Buddy Franklin starting up on the wing. I think that's a really good move.
So the question now becomes, do they go with him? Do they send a Shannon Watt up with him? Because we saw last week that Nathan Box stayed at home back in defence for Adelaide.
Well, I think they do, Hutto. He's too good a player to allow him 8 or 9 possessions. Doesn't matter where they are on the ground. I would be trying to man someone up on him and make sure that he doesn't have as big an influence on the result as he did last week.
You can feel a buzz around the MCG. The Hawks fans really hopeful they can get right back into it. Kangaroos starting with a 16-point advantage, and straight out of the middle, Lewis is able to ride off the first bump, so that's a good start. Off to Renouf, who kicks it deep for Rufford. He had to stretch, and as he was, he left it behind. And that would have shown a bit of authority, wouldn't it, if Hawthorn had been able to take it forward and take a big mark inside 50. But instead, it's North's turn to go forward. Rawlings took it from Petrie, and now Daniel Wells. High ball to the 50, tough for Thomas to handle that one in the air. Lateson had it covered, and the Hawks can reboot.
Just watch Buddy Franklin off the wing there at the first bounce. He ran as hard as you could run for 200 metres all the way through to the goal square. Just missed out on a handball. I'd hate to line up on him on the wing.
Mitchell got it to Jew. Now Franklin with his opportunity just forward of the wing. He lined up on the northern wing. He's at left half forward now in front of the great southern stand. So Franklin deep, rough head the target. In front was Ferrito fisting it over. And well played. They've been able to double team pretty much all afternoon. And with the long kick coming in, and Ferrito did it well there. Well done, Petrie. Played a very good game. Harris has been fantastic. Ferrito, a little underground handball to Urquhart. Hard up against the boundary line. Wasn't a great option there. Just forced it forward. Kick went straight to Jude and Mitchell. The overlap provided by Ladson. Oh, crashed through a couple of tackles. Then got the handball off. Rough head. Young put his head over the footy. Hodge. Handball was too fierce for Franklin. Backing up Jude. Little palm off of Thomas. Just got away with it. Renouf. Off towards Franklin, tries to crash his way through. Took a long time. He's gone. Pinged. Free kick to North Melbourne at half back.
It was a good gang tackle by the North Melbourne players. They sensed Buddy on the rampage. Just about got through too, the big fella.
He did, didn't he? I mean, he got a handball away, but just maybe a fraction too late.
Been good, Shannon Watt, today.
We knew pre-game that the North defenders, the key ones, Perito and Gibson particularly, had leaked a lot of goals this year, and that was always going to be a huge test.
No movement whatsoever here.
Urquhart gets Harvey on the way out.
Clever play from Urquhart. He was telling Daniel Pratt, get out of the space, because you could see Boomer Harvey was behind him. And after a while, I think Pratt realised that, got out the way, and Brent Harvey got the mark.
Rawlings comes up to take it, but the next one's going to be the big kick, isn't it? High ball, hoping for Pratt. Birchall should have that one in his sights. And it stayed in. And now Osborne can use Lewis. He's stuck on his wrong side here. And I reckon happy in the end to take it out. Harvey making sure he felt it. There is still a bit of residual, no doubt, from that round 3 match. And there's been some words that have been spoken since. We haven't seen a lot of angst, genuine angst out there, but it's been a good, tough contest. It's about to get even tougher. G. Young was given a bit of latitude by the umpire, but he's turned it over anyway. Rawlings. Harris. Good. Oh, that is good, strong stuff, isn't it, in front of Ladson for Harvey.
He's underrated as an overhead mark, Boomer Harvey, for someone of his stature and size. Clinton Young's had, I think, for one of the first time in his career, a really hard tag. Lee Harding's done a really good job on him.
Well, the Hawks players went to ground there, and really North had a chance to escape. Look at G. Petrie, copped some treatment. But Corey Jones there. Didn't seem to matter.
At some stage, Hawthorn's really got to start taking some risks again. If you want to win this game, you've got to enable the footy to go back through the corridor, and that means taking a risk or two, playing on.
Big task for Rawlings to burst through there. Hawthorn politely asked the question, and the umpire politely, Nicanuni says no. 10-10 to 7-12 is the score. Cool day at the MCG. We're in the heart of winter footy. A little bit of rain this morning. That could have been high contact, and the non-controlling umpire saw it. Xavier Ellis is the recipient of the free kick on the wing for the Hawks.
Just feeling the throat there. Ellis towards half forward. Hodge just got rid of Rawlings and then dropped the mark. Did all the hard work. Ferrito, little up and under handball to Harvey. Will he take on big Renouf? He does with a bounce. Now where does he go? Petrie wasn't actually intended for him. It was intended for Simpson. Harris is under the pump. Gang tackled. Ball spills wide. Jones looking for an option. Finds Harris. Feeds it back. Harvey. Can he spot up a target? He can. Campbell.
He's got Nathan Thompson one out. If he can get it in quickly.
That's what they need to do. Kicks it to the hot spot. 20 metres from goal. In from the side. Thomas. Up in front. Thompson. And Lindsay Thomas will kick from 25 metres directly in front to increase the margin to 22 points. There's Nathan Thompson. And as we continue to watch, Thomas just drifting in from the side.
He's been fantastic today, Lindsay Thomas. Chriso, he's only had the 7 disposals, but it's just been at the right time. He's laid a good tackle. He's chased down really hard from behind. Been really impressed with the way he's played today.
Coming into today, just 4-7 from set shots. He's kicked this one, no. North out by 22 points. Well, just what they needed, Luke, after Hawthorn kicked the last 2 goals of the third quarter.
I think we're all sitting here with this feeling that, that Hawthorn are going to just up the ante a little bit. They're going to get the footy in the hands of Luke Hodge and Sam Mitchell and burst through the centre of the ground. Well, at the moment, all the plays being won by North Melbourne. They've come out again this last quarter. They've tackled well. Their intent's been fantastic. They're going to take a lot of beating from here.
Accuracy in front of goal has cost Hawthorn. They've kicked 5-5 from set shots. North, on the other hand, 7-2, contributing to a 22-point margin here. They got that first goal, and that will really give them some spring in the legs. Wells just poked the ball into the space, filled by Rawlings, just bit off a little bit more than he could chew there. And Stuart Dew is going to get 50. That'll help. 50, couldn't give a 50 to a worse player than Stuart Dew either. So almost take him within range. He kicks it quickly before he ran the full distance to get it in there and build the pressure up. But
Well done.
North, that's just been their trademark today. The big blokes getting back to lend a hand. And really, Stewie Jew probably didn't make the right decision, but it's easy to say that now. The margin 22, and they're running again.
Wells, loose player at half forward. Shannon Watt runs with a bounce through 50. What will he do? Will he have a ping from 40? He does. And he misses to the near side.
Been the best game I've seen Shannon Watt play today. He's pushed up onto Buddy Franklin. Spent a fair bit of time on him today, and he's going to try and follow him around the centre of the ground in this last quarter.
Best game in 11 years, Das, you reckon?
Best one I've seen.
Mitchell, you're a great student of the game. You would have seen a lot of them. Here's Xavier Ellis. High ball rough. It just slipped initially. His recovery is pretty good. He was about to run onto it, you thought, but there's other players to contend with. Urquhart, initially good. Disposal wasn't clean. He's still going again. He shows a lot, Urquhart. Like the look of him. Petrie, and there's mates galore. It's been a real team effort. Who's on him? They burst it. Thomas just about finished the Hawks off here. Just about. Going to make it hard. Out to 29 now.
Well, big confusion in the Hawthorn defence. We're just having a look at their defenders now, conferring and saying what happened, because someone forgot to pick up their man. Someone had run down the ground, and Lindsay Thomas had stayed back, and he was all on his own. Look at the defenders there looking around going, wasn't my fault. It was someone else's man. I didn't have him.
It's also a function of this cluster defence they sometimes play. So caught out there, Hawthorn. Players, defenders up the ground trying to zone, and Thomas slipping in behind it. 2 goals for the quarter. Campbell decisively. Hodge, they need something here from Luke Hodge from 60. He drives it deep and long and kicks a wonderful goal. Oh dear, Luke Hodge. Isn't that the hallmark of a leader, just putting his hand up? Something had to be done, and he responded emphatically from outside 50.
He is a phenomenal player, Luke Hodge. Great call, Chriso. He sensed the occasion. He knows that his side is fighting an uphill battle, and he just had one thing in mind about winning the clearance, and then the ability to finish like that is first class.
I guess it's why, Das, we keep thinking that Hawthorn had come back. Got so many weapons.
Big clearance this one now after Hodge won the last one. Can he do it again? Ooh, free
High
kick.
contact. Been impressed with Lee Harding all year, really. He's been reinvented himself in a more defensive mode, with his forward line sneaky role being taken well and truly by Campbell and Thomas.
He's tagged Clinton Young today. Lee Harding done a really good job.
Petrie sets it up, hoping for Jones or Thompson, who came late. And was it a mark? It doesn't matter. He's played on and holding the ball now. Campbell Brown better be careful, because he was being hunted. He's kicked that well. Oh, they needed to synchronise a little better, Rioli and Young, and he fumbled. Young hasn't had a good day, and he can't shake Urquhart. And again, the Kangaroos winning the crucial contests when the battles are there to be won. This is Lindsay Thomas again. Full of run is Pratt. Back for Thomas. Harris, you heard the call. Wells gliding through the middle, and again they're on. Wasn't a good bounce for Harding. You'll know he's got Ferrito running from behind. Just had to ride the bump out there. Big run off. He's dragged it down. He's given it back up. The ever dangerous Corey Jones. That could have been a free to Birchall against Hale, not paid. Mitchell refusing to panic. Oh, Campbell's going to take a bounce. My goodness. Xavier Ellis also misses the target. And this man is just about as good as any to pounce. But he misses. And the margin is 24.
Becomes perceived pressure when you've got a Lindsay Thomas and a Matt Campbell around you. You just feel as though you're going to get tackled and run down from behind, and forces the turnover. It makes you kicking a little bit more under pressure, and Hawthorn have made some mistakes.
Disposals 50-31 in this final term North's way, but this time it's Hawthorn. Boyle to Osborne, kick in behind Young and also Petrie. Petrie needs to get up to the line. Up comes Gibson. Oh, didn't take it over. That could be a mammoth mistake It's not. Roughhead misses to the near side. Got to take the ball with you in that situation. He did the right thing, left Roughhead to try and take it over, and left it behind. Behind to the Hawks, margin back to 23.
They haven't got it out cleanly here, the Roos. And Hawthorn with an opportunity. They're just getting it wrong by centimetres. And again, Boyle squeezes out behind. And it's like something, maybe it's karma dust. I don't know from what you said earlier, but it just won't click for them, will it?
No, they don't seem to have everything gelling beautifully at the moment. Their forward setup has just not functioned as well as you would think with the great forwards there and the superstars. Franklin's been well held. Rufford has looked dangerous at times.
Oh, gee, talking about looking dangerous. That kick was chopped off by Williams, and he's kicked it away.
Will that be a free kick?
Yeah, it will be. Williams pleading his case, suggesting he didn't think it went out. I think it was pretty clear it did. It was just a little bit hopeful. No, maybe I'm being too harsh on him. But in any case, a free kick to North. Oh, gee, too much on it for Harvey. Chance for Morton. Have been impressed with his game. Handball inside to Tuck. 60 from goal. Back to Osborne from 40. Chips at Franklin. Oh, dear. This overwhelming sense that Hawthorn are just going to keep coming. And Lance Franklin has just had 9 disposals today. He's kicked 1 goal too. He's been well held by a number of the North defenders. He pops this one into the post. So his ugly day continues. His tally 1 goal 3. Margin 21 points.
A few mistakes creeping into the North kicks here. A lot of pressure on these ones now. You've got to spot up a teammate.
Well, it's been in that 50 for a good 3 or 4 minutes, hasn't it? And Hawthorn haven't been able to capitalise either. Can they lock it in? Petrie versus Boyle. Campbell Brown. This is Lewis. That was not a good handball, but he was there to make amends. Back for Boyle. There's heaps of Hawks through this central part. It's in dangerous hands now. Luke Hodge, he could have loaded up for 1 more go. He didn't hold Morton. Crucial mistake. Farito there to pounce. Adapted the kick very well. Kangaroos have got all the answers at the moment. Boomer Harvey won't panic. He's got Simpson away to the right. Wouldn't the captain love to cap it off with a goal? On his wrong side, to know he'll do the team thing. Kept it up for Hale. And again, they can load from outside. Thomas. He's kicked it! What a day for the Roos!
G3 final quarter goals for Lindsay Thomas.
4 overall for the game, Chris. I mentioned karma a little bit in the second half, and I was referring to Nathan Thompson, who had worked really hard for little reward on the scoreboard. Well, Lindsay Thomas has worked so hard defensively, so hard chasing, and his reward is 4 goals. Fantastic day.
Well, 15 minutes into this final term, and that's his greatest haul, Lindsay Thomas. Kicked 3 a few times, but the first time he's been able to put 4 on the board, and he's increased North's lead out to 27 points. Harris spills to Simpson. Well done, Campbell just eluded Osborne. Simpson again, kick it long, they say. Ugly looking mongrel inside attacking 50, and free kick
To North.
Come back to Jones. Oh, gee, yeah. Gillam just went straight back in on top of him. And wasn't even watching the ball. You can't do that.
Yeah, it's a free kick every day of the week. Just took his eyes off the footy and canned into Corey Jones, who had his eye on the footy.
Well, we've still got half the quarter to go. But if Corey Jones was able to kick this, it would extend the lead to 33. And surely that would be out of the grasp of even Hawthorn. A committed, accountable, disciplined performance this afternoon by North Melbourne. And Corey Jones is another one, Luke, that set the tone in the first half with his attack on the ball, attack on the player. He kicked 1 goal in the 3rd quarter, comes in and kicks his 2nd, margin out to 33 points.
Yeah, again, it's a reward for effort for Corey Jones. As you said, Chris, he's tackled and chased. Definite free kick there against Gillum. You just, when you put your body on the line consistently and you do the 1% things, I think that quite often you end up getting the reward. And North Melbourne have worked really hard and they deserve their 33-point lead. They've been fantastic today.
It's an unusual feeling for Hawthorn fans, isn't it, this year? Only a couple of times, if they lose today, will they have experienced that defeat. 33 points, the Kangaroos was then with their nemesis last year in the finals. It's not over just yet. But boy, Hawthorn need to get going and be able to convert some shots at goals and some forward entries, which is where they've been brilliant during the year. They've been so efficient, more efficient than any other team inside 50 this year, but not today. And it's all credit to the Roos. Harvey getting dumped after he kicked it.
Free kick against Michael Osborne. And
Don't give away the 50 metres. It's downfield, so it's Harrow's kick.
you to the umpire saying don't give away 50.
Don't give away the 50 metres.
Boomer Harvey's ripped off because he doesn't get to take the kick.
I reckon he might just sneak down the flank here and get it anyway. No, Osborne sensing that.
He still wanted to go to him. Harris goes short. North are in no hurry to move the ball on from here.
How big a turnaround is this going to be for North Melbourne? They lost by 53 points last week to Fremantle.
They were very good against Geelong 2 weeks ago, Darcy. That was, I think, what really hurt Dean Laidley last week.
I don't think anyone thought they would have turned it around against Hawthorn and be 33 points up.
No, it's a fair call.
18 minutes in the final quarter.
Well, they're going to make Hawthorn come to them. And fair enough. There might still be a fair way out, but they lead by so much that in front of 42,500 people, they are on their way to a huge win today for the club for this season. They'll be back in the 8 tonight. Tuck drawing a very big crowd on the outer wing.
Been really coached really well by Dean Laidley today. They've set up incredibly well initially to counteract the efforts of Buddy Franklin. They had their defenders operating in unison and had some really good matchups around the midfield. He's coached them very, very well.
Lewis to Tutt to Osborne. Deep, Roughhead in a great spot here. Got rid of Gibson. And Jared Roughhead will kick from 30 metres.
That's what we haven't seen a lot today is one-on-one contests for these big power Hawthorn forwards. They love that. Every forward does. And that's been the setup of the Kangaroos defence. If they had allowed too many one-on-ones, these guys are good enough to smash you. 2
goals for Jared Roughhead this afternoon. Couple of steps. And he misses again. 2 goals 5.
They've kicked 3 goals 8 between them, Franklin and Roughhead. And add Mark Williams, and it's 4 goals 10. And that's really largely the tail of the tape. That's not that they necessarily would have won, but it'd be a downside closer.
Yeah, it doesn't help when you miss gettable shots like that. But take nothing away from the Kangaroos. Their effort has been fantastic.
Gee, I've been impressed with Drew Petrie, who's been one of those players that sat back, did the ruck work, sat back across half-back, led a hand to the defence, but
he's had a really good month.
Very good.
Really good month, Chris, on a side that's been up and down a bit. His form's been very consistent.
And the ball slides out of bounds. Renoff, the big ruckman there, doing the job. Now, what does this say about Hawthorn? Is it simply a matter of Sewell, Crawford, those type of players getting back into the team, and Bateman, they've missed his run?
Yeah, Trent Crode's the other one that's a big omission to their defence. It has exposed their defence a little bit, in fairness. Trent Crode's very important to their side. So, look, they're 4 very important players to them, and they've been coping well without, whilst missing some of these big names, but it catches up with you at some stage. They'll need to get them back in and get themselves back on track.
Is it anything tactically that other sides will take out of this and the Bulldogs' performance a few weeks ago?
I think what North Melbourne have done really well, Hutto, is stop the change of direction from Hawthorn. They haven't allowed them that free footy through the middle of the ground. Slowed the Hawks down, haven't allowed them to play on, and forced them wide, and that has worked really well. It's easier said than done, but North Melbourne have done it really well, and the Bulldogs did it really well down in Tasmania a few weeks ago.
Bradford Thomas getting a few instructions from his teammates. Looking backwards, he's got Drew Petrie. He wants to go right back. Instead, he goes along the line to Daniel Harris, who's more inclined to move it on and see if they can get another goal. Shannon Grant waits down, but it doesn't get down. Campbell Brown.
Contested marks 16-7 in favour of North Melbourne. And Brown kicks wide. Oh, good strong mark taken in front by David Hale. Williams had the sit, but Hale too tall.
Still a really young defence, the Hawthorn defence, isn't it? When you take Trent Croad out, you've got Gillam, you've got Campbell Brown, you've got Birchall. Players that certainly in the first half of their careers rather than the second half of their careers, and today they've struggled to maintain to keep in check these dangerous Hawthorn forwards, including Shannon Grant, who's been fantastic.
Harvey to Grant. So just content here to maintain possession, although Grant forced to kick inside, attacking 50, but David Hale stands tall and marks 45 from goal.
He's been great too today. His big mate Hamish McIntosh is out with a knee injury, posterior cruciate, that'll miss 10 weeks. He has added this to his game this year, his ability to take a contested mark, and good on him for doing that. Makes him such more of a dangerous player if he pushes forward. He's such a big unit if he can take a contested mark.
Hands off to Wells, kick straightening up. It's a goal. Daniel Wells, take a bow. Well, out to 38 points now. The blistering final quarter by North. They've kicked 5 goals to 1. And, well, they've dominated. And just Renouf there, just waiting and trying to feel for Hale. Hale had his eyes fixed on the footy and was focused on that. Renouf had the front position, and there you can see the little give to Wells, who was able to convert from 50. And this is, well, it's going to be a magnificent North victory.
Not a lot of joy for Jeffrey today either.
No, he's looks a little bit flat down there, Jeff.
His hair looked a bit flat too, didn't it? Might have had a beanie on during the afternoon.
Wouldn't have thought so.
Probably not. 15, 12, right, 16. Pity we didn't have a shot of him if he did. In the beanie. Out wide, Corey Jones trying to get Harvey running. Of course, Hawthorn also missing the Alistair Clarkson, missing his second ruckman in Simon Taylor, or his equal first ruckman. They do share those duties. Rudolph's been pretty honest about his contest, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has showed some good signs, but he's still a fair way away from the level that Simon Taylor plays at. And apologies to Simon Taylor. Lindsay Thomas there just pulled up a little bit stiff. He seems happy to play on, but Simon Taylor is a really important part of this side as well.
Disposals for this quarter 95 to 55.
They've done it on the back of this. From the first bounce, they've contested so well. Sweet Dean Laley still just directing his charges. He's got to be really proud of them today, though. They've just performed unbelievably well.
Margin 38 in favour of North Melbourne. A huge upset.
Sam Mitchell's still been really good. He's had 35 disposals. Luke Hodge has been pretty dangerous as well, but just haven't looked like really challenging them.
Here's Mitchell with another one. Under a bit of stress there from Watt, but he got it back for another disposal. Mitchell didn't quite hit the target again and made it a bit tough for Osborne, who might get a free here. A little lucky as he ducked his head.
Well, yeah, you said it well. Shouldn't pay free kick when the player sees the oncoming opponent and duck your head. Well, you shouldn't get a free kick.
This is Tim Boyle's turn now.
Hasn't had a massive impact. Hutto. He's had 11 disposals, and something they've got to go back and rethink. Hawthorn is just to set up their forward line. It's such a fantastic thing to have so many talented players at your disposal, but getting the mix right and how they work well with each other is a challenge for him.
He's been on the field for 88 minutes, so it's not like he's just played a bit part. He's kicked one behind. That looks like it's a little more on line. Bit late for the Hawks, but it's a goal.
Just not sure of the best scenario for Tim Boyle on this side with Mark Williams, Buddy Franklin, Jared Ruffhead, Cyril Rioli. It's just so much talent. You'd love to have that at your disposal. But he seems to have been just able to get himself out of the play, not in great positions to be dangerous at times today, Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle with his first goal of the afternoon. Margin back to 32 points. Deep into the final 5 minutes, Hale decisively.
Play on, come out, play on.
Umpire was just about to penalise, I reckon, Adam Simpson there, but
You can see Adam on the ground just pleading the umpire, saying, I can't do anything about that.
so a secondary bounce. And there's the matches to come for North Melbourne. St Kilda, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, and then Melbourne. Game against Port Adelaide away, so that'll be a challenge.
They're winnable matches, though, aren't
Absolutely they are. Now, ball's coming back. It'll be a Hawthorn free kick. Well, look at that pose from umpire Ellis.
It is a big month for North Melbourne, isn't it? They have an opportunity to really entrench themselves in the final 8. They look so much better having Nathan Thompson, Corey Jones and Shannon Grant back in the side.
Tuck high to half forward. Well done. Front and centre was Harding. Frito threaded the handball to Wells. Sweeps it now to Harris. Harvey. Lower. Harris. Good run here by North Melbourne. Out wide to Simpson. Little chip kick forward. And a good mark there taken by Obst. Done a couple of very nice things to do today. Obst. Oh, gee. Over the head this time of Grant. Put the mocker on him. And running back. Boundary throw in. Morton happy just to take it over. And the next 4 weeks for the Hawks. West Coast, Sydney, St Kilda, and then, well, the matchup, the dream matchup we've been waiting all year for, round 17. Although it's lost a bit of a gloss because Wells will run in and put another nail in the coffin. No, he won't. Gee, 30 metres.
Been very good to see Daniel Wells play at this game. At one stage he limped off very early and we thought he might have tweaked his knee again. He's come back, had 25 disposals, had kicked 1 goal and a couple of behinds, and had a pretty big influence over the second part of this game.
Jared Ruffhead hangs that one up in the air for a long time, but Morton and Birchall able to sort things out, and the Hawks can have another saunter forward. Williams got to turn around and fly, and he just got the logistics right at the very last moment. Just trying to work out whether he can kick the goal from there. I think he decides that he can. Gone 30 minutes in this final turn. Made the goal umpire work, and it didn't look pretty, but it's done the job for a goal. So late goal for Hawthorn. Cuts the margin to 27. But it's still a convincing win for North Melbourne coming up.
Just saw that build up there from the Hawks is something that North Melbourne have restricted really well today, is their ability to handball and run through the back half of the ground, kick it long to a one-on-one contest inside 50. You can probably only think of a handful of times where they've had that really quick flowing play on succession of handballs and then a one-on-one contest. So a few things for the coach to think about after this week.
So 27 points the margin. And as we tick through 31 minutes, Renouf, good palm, I should say, to Ellis, who was wrapped up immediately, going nowhere. Good tackle, good second effort there from David Hale, who's been a very good player this afternoon. 14 disposals, 8 marks.
North have now won all 4 games they've played at the MCG this year.
And it's the 6th time they've beaten Hawthorn. And there it is, final siren, the famous backs to the wall victory by North Melbourne this afternoon at the MCG.
So join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, the champions, you'll agree. North Melbourne is the team that plays to win for you and me.
So a trademark North Melbourne win. Dare we say it, there was tough touched on in the opener, maybe a bit of shin bone of spirit shown this afternoon. Whatever you want to call it, Das, it worked.
Yeah, they came here with a really good focus. They came here with a great game plan.
Petrie, important component, particularly with Hamish McIntosh going down. And there's Adam Simpson. Look at that. There's still things to be learned about, and he's going to go down, I think, and celebrate with the North Melbourne fans, always aware of the struggle for survival. They've made the big decision to stay in Melbourne, and it's been an up and down year for them. There's Hawthorn. An unusual feeling. They've gone down at the MCG, but it's North stay by 27 points.
The champion to agree.